Don't forget to like this video if you like it, click subscribe, click notifications for future contents, and don't forget to share it with a friend. Don't forget to like this video if you like it, click subscribe, click notifications for future contents, and don't forget to share it with a friend. Don't forget to like this video if you like it, click subscribe, click notifications for future contents, and don't forget to share it with a friend. Don't forget to like this video if you like it, click subscribe, click notifications for future contents, and don't forget to share it with a friend.
Shalom, shalom. Greetings, everyone. Blessings, blessings. This is Mike Allen here from Digging in the Word with a brand new second Matriarchy Monday episode. And we are going to continue from a discussion we started off last time. And I got my family in the background. We're going to bring them on. And so with that said, as they are preparing and they're waking their way in, we're getting them on the stage.
Hello.
All right. Shalom, shalom. Greetings, blessings. How we doing? How we doing? Good to see you guys. Good to see you. How's everything? How's everyone? Talk to me, baby. Talk to me. How we be? How we be? Sister Call for Wisdom. How you doing? Blessings. Sister Deborah, how you doing?
I am blessed. Yah has been faithful. He kept me another week. I'm so happy for fellowship with you all, and to have the brothers around. It's wonderful for Matriarchy Monday as well.
Matriarchy Monday. Yes. It is a blessing to be here again. And how about you, Brother Ak?
Brother Ak, here you go.
Right? Yeah.
Hey, the Most High has been good to us.
Brother Ak Hermano.
There it is. Nah, the Most High has been good to us.
Good. That's good.
It's definitely been good.
That's good. Yeah. Anything interesting today other than we got?
I can't. The old folks just say I can't complain, and even if I could, I wouldn't tell you.
Wouldn't tell me exactly. And if I listen, then you need to keep. Anybody that's gonna listen to bad news and complaints, you know. Yeah. So we are on part 2 tonight. We're gonna get into this after the prayer. Once again, I just want to welcome everyone to our second installment of our second episode of Matriarchy Mondays with Mike Allen and friends. I am Mike Allen, your host, and this is my family here on the stage with me. And we are going to continue the discussion that we started last week, and we'll get right into it. I'm going to ask Brother Yahuwah would be so kind to open us up with a word of prayer.
Absolutely. Ready?
I'm ready. We're ready.
Abiyah, we come before you right now and we say Toda Rabbah. We are grateful for all that you've done in every way that you have provided, how you have kept us safe thus far, even as we travel on the highways and the byways and the country roads. We are grateful how you have kept our family safe from hurt, harm, and danger, and how you have kept us in your way. I ask right now, Abiyah, for your loving hand to stretch far and wide, that you touch your people, that you move with compassion upon us, that you remember those that have lost loved ones, that you remember those that struggle with mental health, that you remember those that are carrying children in their womb. We ask in this hour that you put in us your wisdom and your understanding, and we ask that as we converse along the lines of this topic, that we are able to edify one another, learn from each other, and ultimately encourage specifically the Akiot, our sisters, of an understanding of how they should move when in turbulent waters or dangerous situations. We ask all these things in Hashem Yehoshua, in your son Yehoshua's name. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Bless. Thank you. Thank you so much for that prayer.
Amen.
Thank you. The people are filing in.
You want to say hello to a couple of them, brother? Do you
Yes,
mind?
When the saints
Yeah.
come filing in.
Hello, Jets Bet Roberts. Oh, Jets Bet Roberts. Jets Bet Roberts.
That's
Brother Beard, blessings.
That's
that mean,
Mrs. Yahuel.
Oh, okay, nice.
That's Mrs. Yahuel.
Okay. Brother Beard, it's always nice to see you, sister over here.
Yes.
This is her. Okay, yeah.
Shabina.
Oh, okay, Jets of Bread. Okay.
There's Johnny.
Johnny. Good to see you.
Yes.
Shalom.
And who is this?
Mishpah Bayith.
Oh, that's my daughters.
Your daughters?
Okay.
Wow, okay. All right. We got the family. We got the whole family joining.
All right, sisters.
Which is always nice. Thank you guys for showing up.
Yes. We're gonna be on point. We're gonna be on point. All right. Good. Bless. All righty. So last week we touched on a serious topic. And we're gonna do the second installment tonight of this topic. You're gonna say something?
2 weeks ago.
Last week. Well, the last week we were on Matriarchy Monday, which was 2 weeks ago. The last week we was on Matriarchy Monday 2 weeks ago.
Previously on Matriarchy Monday.
That's simpler. Previously.
And good that you say that, though. If you did not get the opportunity to watch the first installment of what we're going to continue with tonight, we do encourage you highly to go back on the channel on the live tab and click that first installment of this particular topic that we are endeavoring to continue tonight. And it is titled, "Is it biblical for a wife to endure life-threatening abuse?" Is it biblical? Part 2. Is it biblical for a wife to endure life-threatening abuse? Part 2. That's what we're going to endeavor to finish up and wrap up tonight and go deeper into it. We definitely had a very good discussion, meeting discussion, much needed discussion, right? And a lot of points were made, and it was, we got a lot of good feedback too, as a result of it as well. So I'm looking forward to us getting back onto this topic tonight and dig more further into it. Hopefully you guys came to dig tonight, right? Prayerfully, right?
That's the hope.
Yes. And I got my coffee for energy tonight. Okay, for energy. All right. I don't think we're going to be that long, but you never know, right?
You never know.
Yeah. So, all right. So, last time we talked about this idea, which is in the title, about abuse. We defined it, right? And we're going to define it, but I want to first watch some videos. Sister Deborah had collected some videos for us to watch.
Nice.
I'm going to pull.
And then we want to go into defining, what abuse is, because the title is it biblical for a wife to endure life-threatening abuse? And we find that it's so important for us to define terms when we topics, because I could mean one thing, you could mean one thing, Sister Call for Wisdom could mean one thing, brother. Well could be mean another thing, and so we're not really communicating with each other, right? We're assuming that we know what the other person is thinking or saying or what they mean, that it's the same as what we're saying or mean something to be. So it's important to define our terms, especially when you start building and you start digging into the word. Even when you debate someone, you also want to define terms, because defining the terms is another tactical way of exploiting the weakness in your opponent's arguments.
Sure.
You get them to define the terms, and based on their definition of the terms, you can show where their holes are at. You can show where they're in contradiction at. You can show where it does not line up with the text, right? So it's a very powerful strategy for Bible study, Bible discussion, and Bible debate, right? So we're gonna roll out. Let me just take this banner down. No need to have the banner up. We need to see Brother Yahuwah's face, right? At the bottom of the screen. He doesn't have to have blue on half of his face. We want to see the whole the whole face. All right.
There it is.
Sis, please take us away.
Yeah, before I show I got a little collection of the modern day definitions of abuse. So I think the last time we spoke about abuse in different forms, that obviously there's physical abuse that everybody knows of. But these days, we have been categorizing others, and I'm just going to show a few TikToks who define other kinds of abuse. You might want to rule out if it really is abuse or not. But here we go. Okay, let's see.
What I know. How do they know how to do all this crap? Such a good question. Why are they all so well versed and knowledgeable in technology abuse, specifically electronic surveillance and spying, which is what the original video was about? This is what I know. So the first thing to remember is the narcissist always has ulterior motives. They are devious, they are manipulative, they are vindictive. Their entire mission is to have power and control over their victim. And because we don't think in these terms, we wouldn't think to use an Alexa app as an example in a nefarious way. Whereas for them, if they can figure out a way to use it to monitor, to spy, to stalk, and to have power and control over you, they're absolutely going to do it. Something else I've come across is that the majority of people that I have talked to on this app as an educator, and some of the women that I've helped escape relationships with domestic violence, is that every single one of them was well versed in information technology. And while I'm not saying that every person that is in the IT land is a narcissist or abusive, it is just something to be aware of, because it means that they know how to use technology in a way that can be very scary. The narcissist also loves to be an expert in technology, because technology abuse is very hard to prove. It is very hard to trace, and they know that, and they like that. They can stalk you, monitor you, harass you, psychologically torture you, make you very afraid, and they can do this without going anywhere near you. Because the narcissist knows that going near you, getting physically in your space, physically harming you, those are the things that you're most likely going to be able to get a protection order for. And because physical abuse often leaves a mark, which is evidence, it's the most likely form of abuse that you could charge them for. It is so hard for me to understand how they are able to do this, especially since I was someone who went through extensive technology abuse, especially post-separation. But I think what it boils down to is we know that the narcissist, especially the psychopathic brain, they are very lacking in empathy and remorse. And they also do not have the same brain activity light up with respect to knowing what consequences will be. So I think the combination of those things, it makes it very easy for them to participate in things like stalking, monitoring, harassing, psychological torture through technology, because they just don't care. They only care about them. They only care about their feelings, and they want to maintain power and control. And if they can do that through technology, they are going to learn how to do that with all this crap.
Okay, so the question is, do you think technology, using it to monitor your wife, like she says, and control your wife, is that abusive? That's one question.
Yeah, is it abusive, right? Technology. Before we even go to that point of what she says, I think it's something she says early in the very beginning that I think is very important. What is a narcissist? We did do a live stream a few months back on this notion of a narcissist or narcissism or a narcissistic wife. What is a narcissist? What is that? Like what? Because we can't talk about life-threatening abuse if that doesn't come up in the conversation, right? What is a narcissist? It's a term that you'll be very hard pressed to open up social media and not find a video such as this, right, that we just seen, where a man is being accused of being a narcissist. What does that mean? I see you smiling. Talk to us, baby.
I was gonna say a narcissist is a negative catch-all word for men.
Very good. That is exactly it. If you're breathing and you're male, you're a narcissist.
That's it. It's a negative. It is the ultimate definition for all things negative relating to males.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. And it's also, I think, would say, to add on what you said, a clinical term for what is known as a toxic masculinity, right? So a man can literally be operating in his masculine and it will be perceived as narcissistic, right? Which in other circles would be coined as toxic masculinity. What do you say that call for wisdom, Sister D?
Yeah, it is because we are afraid of what masculinity really stands for, the authority over, the headship over, the leadership. We consider all that narcissistic because you have now put yourself in a position above us in status, right? In role, they think that you did that, not y'all did that, that you did that as a man on your own, right? It wasn't something that y'all gave you authority to, but we, the worldly women, we believe that that's how it goes. So that's when a man sees that or walks in that authority that y'all given position, all that is narcissistic. That who do you think you are? Like who in the world? So that this self-glorification, we think that it's self-imposed, not y'all imposed. Therefore, it's narcissistic.
It's like the ultimate man cuss word.
It flows well off the tongue, you know. It means it's a catch-all, like you said.
Were there any answers from the comment section?
Yes, there's a couple comments, but you can read the definition though. Go ahead.
Read it. Yeah, I want to see what they say first.
Oh, there's some. Well, first of all, this brother here says spiritual abuse is also a type of abuse. I'll check out your first episodes too. Says okay, great.
Okay.
And Brother Beard says modern version of abuse is daring to say no to a woman. Narcissistic, right? Yeah, you said no.
Exactly, brother.
Yeah. Then I asked here, do you think that using technology to monitor your wife is abusive? And Brother Beard said that monitor not abusive, but stalk yes. Where is the line between those two? Yeah, we can discuss that. We deserve it.
That's a very good question. Is there a thin line, or is there a line between monitoring and stalking? Is there? That's a good question. Is there a thin line? Is there a difference between monitoring and stalking? And that's the other thing too. If it's your husband, let's talk about husband. Can your husband stalk you?
I don't think it's a thin line. I think there is a definite line between stalking and monitoring.
Please help us out. Please help us out. Please help
us
sure.
We can look at it just from the perspective of dealing with children, right? In dealing with our children, we give them electronic devices, etc., and we give them access to use it, right? But we put restrictions on those to monitor their behavior on the device and to ensure that they don't wander off in an area that they can become ensnared.
Hmm.
All right. What that doesn't mean is I get on and go to every single page that they've been on, whether I'm aware of it or not, for the purpose and intent of trying to catch them doing something that they're not supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
For the purpose and intent.
Right.
That's a key phrase, right? So when we look at the difference between stalking and monitoring, and you go, well, that's a child. Okay, well, when I ask any random woman that any random traditional woman, right, what her expectation is for a husband, one of the top 4 is always protection. And so we have these grandeur buildings, right, that have security, have people in the lobby, and yet there's still cameras to monitor behavior that transpires inside the building, so that person that's responsible for the building can ensure your safety while you're in it. But it doesn't mean that he's stalking you or she's stalking you, in that they're tapping into everything that you do and everywhere that you go. Oh, they were in the restroom for 13 minutes. Why today was it 13 minutes versus yesterday it was only 5?
Right. First of all, that was a very how would you say, profound way of showing the contrast, right? I never really even thought of it like that.
Me neither.
It just hit
Wisdom,
you,
brother. Yeah,
just gave it to you, right? Yeah, but I never really thought of it that way. That the contrast between the two would be that monitoring is there to protect, while stalking is there to try to find something sinister or bad or wrong, entrapped, right? You must be bad, so I have to monitor you, right? And that would be, I think that would be kind of like excessive, right? Because sister, please, if a man wants to find something wrong or something bad on his woman, and he's excessively monitoring her to try to find something, what's the odds that he's going to find something that he might interpret it to be bad?
Well, I think 100%. If you're looking for it, you're going to find it, because everything's going to be interpreted based on what your perception is, right?
And
your
history.
Intent and your history, yeah.
And
your trauma, your past trauma, yeah. So
Even
I like that.
7 times in the past.
So now everything.
I have a friend who's married to a man, and I mean, this guy, literally, the camera, she has a salon set up in the basement of the house. He had the house before she moved in, and while he's at work, he's monitoring not only just what he sees, what's being said there, right? What's being said there. And I mean, he suspects everyone. Any guy, like I used to work with her, right? So any guy, so I've been, right? Any guy that just says hello to her, he suspects, right? And when, knowing the history, because she's a friend of mine, I knew her before him, right? He's been like hurt, or he has had like maybe like 4 or 5 different women in his past, serious relationships, cheated on him. So he has this fear, right? And so a lot of times it comes out of the insecurity of the person who is having this controlling behavior, excessive controlling behavior, right? But that's an interesting way. Like, one, monitoring is basically out of love and protection, whereas stalking is really out of, I'm gonna get you, right?
And so somebody can make the argument, I'm an adult, I don't need nobody to monitor me, right? And I would say that's true until you're missing and no one can find you. And you're
No
not
way.
missing because you left. You're missing
Right.
because there's someone trying to traffic you. You're like, that would never happen to me. You never know. And so imagine that your husband's able to find you because there's some type of mechanism in place to monitor where you're at, and now he can save you.
Right. You just made me think of something again. While you do not want your husband, and you're pushing back on the idea of your husband monitoring you, at the same token, some nut on the other side of the town is already monitoring you.
No, stalking
Right?
you.
Stalking you, right? He's
Right,
already
because that person doesn't have permission or reason or the authority
neither does he
to
love
monitor you.
Right. Neither
So
does
that
he
would
love.
be
Right. Neither does he love or wants to protect you. Right.
right. And so
That's a good point.
That's stalking, even
Mhm.
though they're only stalking with the same limitations of your husband, who's monitoring. For them, because they lack the authority or the permission, like that's stalking.
You think about that. The parent that takes the child to the park, but while the parent is all in their phone, there's a predator sitting on the other side of the park that's paying full attention to the child.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they look up, the child is missing, right? And it happens. It happens, right? You know, probably every day around the world, right? You have a parent that'll take their child out in the public, take their eyes and their focus and attention is somewhere else, while there's someone else who has, 100% attention on their child who means no good.
Right.
What you want to say to this?
No, I have been stalked actually a couple of times in my life, and it's not a good feeling. But it's again the intention of the stalker is not to protect you; it's to take advantage of you in some way. And so it's I guess it's a negative.
Right.
There is a distinction between monitoring, which is done under love and protection, and stalking to
right.
take advantage of your weakness as well.
There was a reality show. I mean, I don't know if you can call it reality, but it's kind of reality. And they would do this thing where they would have this agent acting like a little girl, right? Or a little
to catch a predator.
Catch a predator, right?
Yeah, that was my show.
Right. So what would happen is they'll be online, and then the predator starts talking with them, acting like they're their age, right? Or acting like right. And so now, where can I meet you? Oh, this is where I'm home. Like, was anyone there? No, I'm here all by myself, right? And sure enough, the predator comes inside there, and while he's talking and now making advances, right? Then that's when the police and the people of the show, the producers,
Chris Hansen would come out.
Come out, right? I don't know his name, right? And they would come
Chris
out.
Hansen, yep.
The rest of the guy,
So I got a couple of comments here. Let's see. Brothers, where we are. But yeah, it's a scary thing to be stalked as a woman, especially since you don't have the power. So if I had somebody monitoring me, who he probably would have saw the stalking going on, So it's needed. It's needed.
Exactly.
Let me see what we got here. Comments. There's a couple of them. So Brother Beard says, very true. 4% of the population is, well, I guess he's talking about narcissistic, but all women have narcissistic exes.
when she picks him, he's not a narcissist.
Yes, exactly.
But when he becomes the ex,
he's not automatically all that.
Or when he starts acting
like red pill alpha.
Yeah.
Red pill. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't want to be tracked. No.
Yeah, women don't want to be tracked. Okay, so when he just stays overnight out of the house these last 4 nights. Okay.
So going back to the video that we watched, right? So she talked about this, but what about the idea of, what she calls technology abuse, right?
That's the first time I heard it was today. I didn't know there was a name for it.
Technology
But
abuse.
basically, it's like women are calling this abuse when a man demands the passwords on their emails, the phones, who restricts their social media presence, like says you can't be on Instagram, you're not allowed to be on OnlyFans,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
You know, putting restrictions. All that
Right.
is considered abuse because you have taken away my right to
Right.
that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what do you guys say? Do you think that it's abuse for a husband to utilize technology to monitor his wife? I mean, think of if you were here for the last stream, we talked about, we went through Numbers 5, right? Where the husband literally has the authority, the autonomy to take his wife before the priest, right? And have her examined through this ritual that Yah prescribes, right? To see whether if she's been faithful or not, right? So, you know, right there in the text, you have the principle that the husband has the authority, right, to publicly, right, monitor his woman. Right. Only thing is that you're not using technology, right? You're using a divine prescription that you can do a whole lot worse than what technology would do, right?
I think
Yeah.
that there's a grand illusion that when you become an adult, that you no longer need protection because you're an adult, that you no longer need like this entity that operates like a parent. And that is how the enemy exploits women and men, but men have the responsibility to hold themselves accountable. Like we used in this example before, if my car breaks down, you know, and I got partners around me, I'm not calling my wife to help me. I'm calling my partners to save me. I'm only calling my wife, you know, to be like, hey, I need you to pick me up or something. But I'm not calling her to resolve or fix the issue, because that's not her role or responsibility. Unless she got changing tires down and I'm in a tuxedo, you know what I'm saying? Then I might be like, hey, put on your dirty clothes and come on.
What's the race car woman? Indy 500, Danica Patrick. She's a race car driver. Danica. Yeah. But
wait, but hold on. Like even in that example, she's a driver. She's not the mechanic.
She's not the mechanic, right? But there are some women that can get under that hood, man. They know their stuff. Yeah, they know their stuff. Talk about their daddies. Yeah. But Sister D try to interject.
Yeah, because it's the technological use of technology is not just for monitoring anymore. It's also about putting up barriers to protect your family, and in particular for women. Right? We have access to a lot of brainwashing movies and TikToks and shows on YouTube that can be teaching us one thing that goes contrary to the values and the teachings of the home, right? So would you put restrictions on that for a wife? I mean, no, you say easily for your teenage daughters, but would you do that for your wives as well? That's a question.
Yes. I have a 21-year-old daughter. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
As much as she is grown, there is still a responsibility to preserve and protect. And you know, my wife, think about it like this, okay? The Most High is all seeing, all knowing, right? Got it. But if you knew that at 4:15 every day, he was going to look at specifically your internet search history, call logs, text messages, whatever, at 4:15 every day. Okay. A man at 4:13 is scrambling to clear that. A woman at 2 o'clock is clearing it, right? Is making sure she's leaving time for the internet to go down and come back up and all. But so if you provide someone that level of access of accountability, then you're less inclined to put yourself in a position to fall prey to something.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's just like, alcoholics and people that are on we're trying to rehabilitation from addictions. We have an accountability buddy to help us. It's the same thing now in this deceptive world that we're in, and it's so many slippery slides on the web that we need to hold each other accountable. Now, even employees do that. They have monitors to watch what you're doing online. So we are being spied on all the time, and we know that, and we have no problem with that.
On your job, you just give them the permission to do it. But at home, you don't want to relinquish that same authority. Oh, gosh. We talked about that's a difference. That's on Man Cave Monday.
Yeah. But that brings us to this question, and Sister Deborah's already encroached upon it, and I think you did as well, right? Are there other scenarios where women would otherwise feel perfectly fine or comfortable to be monitored by men that are not their husbands?
On the job,
obviously,
right? On the job. What's the way a woman is monitored on the job?
There's cameras everywhere.
Cameras, right? There's cameras, right?
And they let them know up front, hey, or sometimes they don't. You're being monitored. Like when I was in the military, there would be a banner that would come up on the computer as a warning, like, hey, just to let you know, these computers are monitored. And people will still be foolish and you know what I'm saying, and go on these sites and stuff that would cause them to lose their job, lose their rank, suffer ultimate shame and embarrassment because the commander is going to make an example out of them. But you can't do that at home.
You made me think of a war story. Let me tell you of an army story, bro. All right, so now
you say army?
Yeah, my army. So I was in the army, man. I was a soldier. No, in the army, right? In my section, how many of us? It was probably about six, seven. I was the lowest rank when I first came in, right? I was the lowest rank.
Typically, that happens when you first come in.
Right, when you first come in. They don't know that. They don't know that, right? But I came into this section from another unit and had rank, because that happens as well. Sometimes you transfer over from another unit, or you come from another post, right? And you have rank, right? So I came in as an E nothing, right? I had nothing, right? E nothings, right? And so there were 1, 2, 3, about 3, 4 other guys who outranked me in the section, and then there was the section chief, who was a sergeant. So happened in our whole company, right, of 120 men, our sergeant was the designated chemical substance abuse examiner, right? His job was
your analysis. I had to think about I'm like, wait a minute. How do you make something that sounds horrible sound cool?
Yeah,
your analysis, chemical substance. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So he did the drug test. He was the drug test.
Yes, he got to watch people pee.
Right? He watched you pee, right? He sit there and watch. That's another one. He literally will watch you. But here's the kicker, though. Here's the kicker. Whenever the test was coming up, guess what he would do? He would let us know, right? Because we're his crew. He wanted his crew to look good. He was from West Virginia. Sergeant Green.
Dang, you calling his name out?
Sergeant, man. He said, man, he said, I just want you to know that we got a piss test coming up. And I want you to be up. I just want you to be ready now, man. Just make sure that you're clean. Make sure you pass. Make sure you're clean. I'm letting you know in the next few days we having a piss test. So all these guys ranked ahead of me, right? They done had 3-4 years, and they making 3 times what I get paid and everything. Right?
More than that.
They go like the very next day after he said that and go and smoke weed.
The next day.
Yes.
The next day they go and smoke weed, right? And it was like the next
so that they could go and afterwards and then clean their system out.
And go and clean it. That was how, but they didn't know. He just said in the next few days, I'm going. He didn't tell them the exact day. He just said, make sure you clean, right? Man, these numb nuts, they went and smoked weed. All 3 or 4 of them came up hot. And I'm telling you, yo, when I came in, I was the last man. So that means that I was all the way at the left of the line, right?
Yeah.
At the left of the line.
They know you couldn't afford it.
The lowest rank. And I couldn't afford it, right?
You was gonna be clean. You couldn't afford not to be.
Yo, it was just within that same day, that morning, right? They all outranked me, and they were all to the right of me. That same day, yo,
that was all the same rank.
All on the left of me. I moved quickly.
You accelerated, eh? Right?
Yeah.
I moved quickly up the rank, right? And it's like it goes to the point where even when people know that they're being monitored, they'll still do stupid stuff, right? They'll still do stupid stuff even when they're monitored. So it just goes to show that we need to be monitored because
sounds like the garden, brother. It sounds like the garden.
Yeah,
he knew. Hawaii knew that the Most High was going to come, or a representative of Elohim was going to come and interface with them in the garden daily.
Right.
And yet she still chose right.
And trying to hide. Like that's like me trying to hide behind this microphone. Like, you think they see me? you know, and they still tried to hide. Like, why hide? Why try to hide from the Most High?
Right.
But that's the reality. Like, we all need to be monitored to some degree and some capacity, right? But I just want to know what are some of the other areas that a person, brother Sheldon said, a doctor. They will examine you, right? Or when you
listen,
security
if you know a woman that has no problem having a male doctor, like
a gyno, right? A gyno, right?
Or a gynecologist, right? Has no problem stripping down to her birthday suit and to let him examine her, especially if there's an understanding that there could be something wrong.
You don't have to go that far. TSA, right? You know,
to fly.
They're gonna do the cavity check, right? They're gonna, do the X-ray check, right? They're gonna do all of that stuff if need be. Yes.
That's why
you want to make
I prefer to drive.
You want to make that flight, right?
I prefer to drive.
You want to go on a girls trip. You have no problem having this man that you do not know, right? You don't. He's a stranger to you. Search, right? Maybe even pat you down if he need to, right? Because there's no other women on staff, so he's got to pat you down, right? You don't mind that to get on your girls trip, right? What else? Is there any other areas that a woman will gladly?
Well, we are always being monitored for it on the internet. Like all our we're giving it all to Google and stuff like that.
Google, exactly. Yeah. All these free apps you got on your phone, the game
where you give your image away,
right? Your image away, your retina, right? all of that. You're freely giving it away. You're freely given access to be monitored. Right?
I think the difference is we have the problem with is your authority. So we're giving it away to people that don't really have authority over us.
So you think?
We think, right? They do have authority over us, obviously, because they could stop you from getting on a plane, and they could ban your internet. They could do that.
Right.
But literally, you're in my space. You're in my bed. It's different. So.
And they have the authority to say, you know what, we're going to give this information to the authorities. We want to give this information to the police, right?
Yeah, they could. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Look, a therapist, right?
After that one, yes.
Yes. Because what if a person confesses that they murdered someone? to their therapist. Is the therapist what obligated to still conceal, right, and protect the privacy of their patient? What happens?
Depends. It depends. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's in the past, right?
No.
They're not telling you they're planning on doing it. It already happened.
Yeah, it's already happened. Right. Now I'm trying to heal. I'm coming here because I'm trying to heal. You're supposed to help me. Right.
Well, there is limitations when it comes to minors. We will sell you out for a minor, okay? Yes. If minors are involved in that, don't trust a therapist.
It even happens with lawyers, right?
Mhm.
Because if your client tells you that he committed a crime, right?
Mhm.
Here in the United States, you still obligated to represent him.
True. Yeah.
Right.
But so there's a lot of times we open up, but I guess we call it abuse when we don't appreciate the man. Really, that's the thing.
It's selective, right?
It's selective. It's selective.
So
right. Can I read a couple comments here to keep up here?
Yeah,
so one of our brothers here.
They're lighting up.
Mm-hmm.
Read that, please.
It says stalking versus monitoring is the same conversation that is being had today with the surveillance state, the government spying on citizens using Ring doorbell cameras without our permission.
Without our permission, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And we know this, right? We know this. We still buy the camera. We still buy the technology, right?
Yeah, for sure. We do. So that's it. So we're gonna continue. Should I show you some more forms of abuse that women say that they're doing?
I'm enjoying it. How about you guys? If you're enjoying this discussion so far, please give us a thumbs up. Put a number 1 in the chat. Say I'm feeling it. Type I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Right.
So this is another one that I just learned recently too, and it's economic or financial abuse.
We didn't define that. This just came up. Let me just.
You want to define it first? Okay.
Please, yeah. The Merriam-Webster defines a narcissist as the meaning of the individual showing symptoms of or affected by narcissism. How to use narcissism? Not defining it. Let me go there. All right. Hold on a second. Let me click it. Okay. An extremely self-centered person who has an exaggerated sense of self-importance, right? A person affected with narcissism, a personality disorder, a person who is overly concerned with his or her physical appearance, right?
You mean like put on a whole bunch of makeup every day? Do you mean like the person that says, you can't break up with me? I sacrificed them and let you into my life. Blah 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 blah.
That's not narcissism.
That's not narcissist, right?
Right. No.
Interesting.
Right? It only applies to. And listen, it only applies to men.
It only applies to men. You said it first. You were the first one to define it.
You can't leave me. Watch me walk out the door.
1 foot in front of the other. Right. Get a definition from Dr. Romani.
If you leave, I'm going to call the police and tell them that you did something to me. That's narcissistic.
Okay, so let's see if we can get some more here. Oh, what's going on with my screen? Can you stop the sharing? Let me just stop the sharing before.
Let me.
I got it. So let's try this one: financial economic abuse. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here are 5 ways to tell if you're being financially.
You ready?
Right. Do it again.
Here are 5 ways financially abused. 1, your partner has complete control over the finances. You do not have access to the accounts, nor can you tell where the money is really going. 2, you're given an allowance. Even if you earn your own money, they restrict how much you spend. 3, you have to ask for money. Like a child, you need permission to spend, even on basic needs. 4, they monitor every single transaction and question or criticize every dollar you spend. And 5, they act like they're being very transparent about the family's finances, all while they have their own private accounts on the side and make damn sure you don't have any of your own. Can you relate? Which one of these hit the hardest? Let us know in the comments and send it over to someone who needs to hear it. Here are
So what do you think about that financial abuse?
Financial abuse. It sounds like she's basically saying that he's in control of the money, and he's also in control of spending limitations on his woman. What do you guys say? What do you guys say in the comment section? Aki, please. What do you say?
Yes, if a man is totally, there are some women, I do know some women who have absolutely zero access to the finances of the house. The man gives her an allowance and tells her how much she can spend on it and what he wants her to spend on it, so she doesn't have financial freedom to randomly buy things. Is that abusive?
Paul says, Rob Shaul says that the husband is the head of the wife in everything. Would money be included in that everything?
So here's the thing.
Everything?
A husband, a man who practices husbandry is a master of the field. He understands or is in the process of learning how his plants grow and how his plants die. He understands when his plants are under attack, depending on which type of plant it is, what to do and what's attacking it. Like if worms are on your tomato plants, you might sprinkle salt on your tomato plants because worms don't like salt, you know, versus if it was some other type of beetle, putting salt on your tomato plant might not get rid of that beetle or that gopher, you know? So his responsibility is to understand how to protect his plants or his field even from harming itself, right? And so if he recognizes that she lacks the ability to self-govern, right, then he is responsible to protect her even from herself. So I can tell you in my house, we have a joint account, right, that our money goes into, but both of my wives have a separate account that they put whatever they put in it whenever. Somebody once asked me, aren't you afraid that they may just take that money and run away, or this isn't a runaway fund? And I have a different thought process, right? If she has a runaway fund, if you will, like if you're going to run. Like if you think you're going to be more successful without protection, covering, all of that, as they say in Beauty and the Beast, be our guest. But
it's not it's not a prison, right?
It's not a prison. And so I'm not insecure in thinking that because I know how creative women are. And if a woman wants to secure funds somewhere, she will find a way. So we're not playing those kind of games, at least in my house. If they have their own accounts, I do have access to those accounts, but I don't monitor them. Because I respect that they work hard for what they've earned, and they have in my house, how I run my house. I'm not telling anybody else how to run theirs. It's just an example. I respect that they should have a little bit of freedom to purchase things and let it be a surprise.
Yeah.
If I know every single thing that's coming, like
it
kind of ruins the ability for them to do something for me that will, you know, blow my socks off because I had no idea they cared, you know, so much for something that maybe I'll give you a perfect example. You know, there I was like, I want to save up for this truck. And eventually one day I'm going to get this truck. Meanwhile, at the Batcave, they did a better job at saving up than I did. And boom.
They did? Really? Wow.
Hey, I know you've been looking at this truck. Why don't you go get it?
Really? They did? Wow.
So
yeah.
It let me know. I didn't talk about this. I wasn't fantasizing about this truck. It wasn't that kind of party. I just like, hey, we have a homestead. It would be wise to have a pickup truck. Man, this has been my dream truck. I only need to say it one time. And boom. It's an old, to most, it's an old pickup truck. It's a 2009, but it's still my dream truck. You know what I'm saying? And so when the opportunity presented itself and what they were saving aligned, man, it spoke volumes. Like when we had our naming ceremony for our sons, the things that they were able to purchase and to be able to give as a gift for my legacy. The waterworks. But if I had my finger on every little thing that they purchased, then I limit myself to be able to see what they truly care about. I don't know what's in them if I'm controlling every little thing that's happening. But if I give them a little latitude, I'm able to guide them in the way they should go, not control them in the way they should go.
Yeah, you remind me of what is the problem with Marxism or communism, because what you're talking about, systems that basically control people's money, access to money, limits and restricts people's money down to this very sense.
Right.
And it is so antithetical to Yah's creative order, because within his creative order, he creates people with several abilities, right? He creates people who have distinct respective abilities, right? We don't all have the same capacity. We don't all have the same ability, which means that he created this world to be in such a way where we as a people collectively can contribute our respective from our respective strengths and talents and gifts, right, as contribution. But when you make everything flat and the same, or you monitor excessively heavy-handedly, what happens is you stifle the creative ability. Right? You think of a person as a painter who does not have access to a canvas or a paintbrush, right? You think of a person who's a musician who has no access to, an instrument, right? A musical instrument to be able to play his music or what have you, right? And that's just an example. And the thing is that husbands have to recognize that, we talked about this the last time, is that, not only are these women our wives, but they're our sisters, and share the same father, right? And we're produced by the same father, and we don't all have the same talents. And one of the reasons as to why one of the main, or the first reasons as to why he gave us these wives was because we needed help in a capacity, in a way that maybe he hasn't given to us, right? He gave us the feminine, right, to complement our masculine, and so if we subject everything from only our masculine perspective, we're stifling the gift and the strength and the ability and the talents that Yah has created them, that would bless the whole household, right? Bless the whole household. That's beautiful, man. You're about to bring tears to my eyes, man. You're telling me, man. No, but that's blessed though. That's blessed. It's blessed.
But think about it. If I was Mr. Controlling, then I would have, and I will tell you, early in my marriage, early in my marriage to my first wife, man, I was told that's how you have to be. And then as time went on, I learned, first of all, she's a little better at finances than I was early on.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, anything you have to micromanage and control,
You don't
might not be yours.
Right. You don't have control of it. Yeah.
It might not be yours, right?
Mm.
It's like horrible example alert. Okay. Horrible example alert, right? All right. But it's like having a pet. Okay. Horrible example. I said it. That was my disclaimer. Horrible example. But if I have a pet, right?
Yeah.
And like a dog.
Come on, let it out, man. Let it out.
Like a dog. Right. I have a Doberman. Right. I have a European Doberman. And we go walking. I don't oftentimes I don't put him on a leash at all. Why? Because he listens to me. Why does he listen to me? Because he knows that I own him. When I tell him to sit, he sits. I don't even have to tell him. When I snap and point, he'll sit. When I drop my finger down, he will lay down on the ground and he will wait until I tell him to get up. Right? Now, funny thing is, other members of my family, they don't have.
You don't do that? They don't know?
No. They don't get the same response that I do. Right? So it's funny because I'll hear them outside yelling and screaming at him to yield and stuff. And sometimes he does. But if I make my presence known, he yields. All right.
So he knows his master. Okay.
Check this out. We just had a dog randomly show up on our property like 2 weeks ago. You know, I didn't teach this dog nothing because it ain't my dog. But he listens to me. He don't just listen to me. He listens to pretty much everybody in the house. They go out, they tell him to sit down, he'll sit down. He watched my dog and learned how to behave. Right? And so I'm not saying that dog is mine, because what I'm using this dog to do is teach my family the principle of Torah, that when an animal comes that belongs to somebody else, you take care of it like it's yours until, you know, the owner comes and gets it or whatever. So that's this principle that we would practice that we would live in the kingdom. We're practicing it right now on our property. Well, that's the whole point, right? The whole point is premised upon recognizing what belongs to you and what does not. And if it does not belong to you, you take care of it until the person that it belongs to can. That's loving your neighbor as yourself. Okay. So my wife, my Nashim, my wife's, my point is I don't have to control them. As a matter of fact, I do the opposite. I give them freedom. In their freedom, they let me know who they belong to. And the Most High does us the same way.
Right.
That's where I learned it from.
Right.
He lays out the law, and then he says, what you gonna do?
You choose. Yeah.
What you gonna do? And your behavior reveals who you belong to.
Who you belong to. You're his. Right. That's wise. That's
very
wise.
Good. Yes.
You were gonna add something else to that, Sister D?
No, I'm going to read a couple of the comments, but it's very good that let's see here. So Brother Beard says that financial abuse is absolutely not abusive. I mean, this lady is, I guess, having control. The question was whether or not a man should control the finances, right? Really, of the woman in that regard.
He's controlling her money, but depending, on the situation, it depends on if it's abuse or not. Maybe she might be bad with money and can't be trusted. Yeah, maybe. Right?
Maybe she has some fun with the credit card, you know?
Yes.
You don't know. You have to know your flock, right? Right. Know her.
But freedom is what exposed that.
Exposes it. Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
And so now you know what, okay, now I know, I need to have, I need to just put a fence up, right?
Yeah.
And you will respect the fence as long as it's there. Another one, you might have to put a shock collar on.
Yeah.
Because the fence isn't enough. You know what I'm saying? Some
Right.
just recognize the perimeter, and I'm just not going to violate that. You don't have to put a fence up. They don't need a shock collar. They don't need a choke collar, like nothing. I was using the pet analogy, right? They recognize this is within, this is home, and this is what I have to protect and abide by. But others, relating to some things, you gotta put the parameters to protect the house, the family, the cars, themselves, etc.
Yeah, because we.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was just gonna say that it's not antithetical to Yah's philosophy, right? Because we know that the garden, Gan Eden, had boundaries, right? It had a gate, right? It had borders, right? So it wasn't.
Yes.
So it doesn't go against a biblical philosophy, right? Yeah.
I guess this is why we're going through this, because there's a lot of definitions flowing out there about abuse, and it's not all based on Torah, right? It's based on the world's definition of abuse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which really points back to this whole idea of feminism. Is that you, Ak? That sound in the background?
Oh, my wife actually walked in and grabbed the monitor and then walked out. That's what you heard.
Oh, it sounds like children or dogs or something like that.
You hear it now?
Now I don't hear it yet.
No, she came and grabbed. It was the monitor, the baby monitor. She came and grabbed at it and walked out with it.
Oh, okay. I got it. Okay. Because I was looking like, yo, I don't have my little ones around. Where they at, right?
There you go. Yabina for the save.
Thank you, Sister Yabina.
Thank you so much.
So this brother says, but I said he's the head husband, the head of the manager, so I don't see anything necessarily wrong with that. If he's the head, no, I'm monitoring. So I guess generally speaking, we're all saying that it's not abusive to monitor.
And really it is that it really just encroaches upon the norms of Western culture that we're a part of, right? That's just really what this whole notion that, like the woman says in the video, it's like you're not a child, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly how the modern woman feels.
Yeah.
If you tell me what to do with the money or what I can do or what I can't do with the money, then you're treating me like a child. If you're monitoring me, you're treating me like a child, but you have no problem with this stranger on the job monitoring you because you want that check.
Okay. By the way, hi, Archimanelo.
Oh, I didn't even realize. I think he did say that he changed his name. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Arroz con chopsticks.
Okay. All right. Blessings. All righty. So should we see another form of abuse here? So we got financial abuse. Let's see what she has to say here.
There's different forms of abuse. If your partner ignores you when you're trying to have a conversation about your emotions or what bothers you, that's abuse. Abuse is not just physical, verbal, it's emotional, it's psychological. Let's not just think that, oh, well, he didn't hit me. Because I've heard that before. He didn't hit me, or he didn't yell at me, or he didn't curse at me, but he did not talk to me for 5 days. The lack of communication can be abuse. The lack of understanding can be abuse, because they can take that to a different level. Understand that abuse is not just he hit me, or he yelled at me, or he cursed at me. He can literally break you down by not telling you that you're pretty enough. But you see on his DMs, right, he's telling somebody else that. And it's crazy how men always want the women that they say they don't want. There's different forms of abuse.
So it's a lack of communication abuse. It's a lack of communication abuse. Like she says, if you go 3 or 4 days without talking to me, is that abuse?
Yeah, I mean, but what if he's not talking to you because that's his mode of correction? Like he's correcting you. You're not listening to him, right? He's repeating himself. And because you keep coming back with the same response, then he's decided to basically give you time out, right?
No.
I mean, No, right? Like on a job, right? With a supervisor on the job, give you time out in any sort of a way.
No.
They wouldn't do it.
No.
Then
No. No other man would ever do such a thing to me because I'm the narcissist and I don't deserve. I'm, not the Most High. Right? When we look at his character toward Israel, okay. When Israel was acting up, you know what he did? He did the same thing that he's always done. He did the same thing in the garden. He removed his presence. And I know that we like to think that I belong to you, but that means you belong to me. And I want your time and attention right now, even though I royally messed up. And it doesn't work that way. If he removes his presence for a season, then that's a good time for you to reflect. Honestly, this is kind of why I like, the laws that he put in place relating to cleanliness laws, or the time of Nidah, or the time when a woman is on her cycle, right? Gives her 7 days to deal with herself, assess herself as apart from you.
Yeah, apart from you. Yeah. Force. Yeah.
And sometimes, they're able to come back with some startling revelation, self-revelation about themselves. Like, it's kind of hard. You kind of hard pressed to tell me the Most High said something and you live in raggedy. Like, you the most disrespectful, dishonoring woman, and yet you have the capacity that the Most High would sift through all your mess and like give you a message. Like,
yeah.
It does happen.
So removing your presence is a good thing, but it's a manipulation tool when a woman is using this toward her ish, her man, her adon, her master.
Well, I mean, it's also a matter of authority, right? That's like a child dismissing the parent, right? Like, I know of, there's a young lady in one of the facilities that I contract with, right, in the nursing home. And actually today I found out last week that they were thinking about getting rid of this young lady, ghetto mentality, not want to be accountable, not doing her job, coming late, making excuses. And so now there's a new administrator, and he's calling her into account. It's like, and she got upset and walked away from him.
Ooh.
She left him no choice, and he made her director fire her, right? She had to fire her. And the thing is that it's the idea of thinking that, okay, well, you are my employer, you sign my check, you are the reason why I'm still able to hold this job, and I don't have to be accountable to you. And I don't like when you are reprimanding me. I'm going to give you the silent treatment. Well, they gave her a permanent silent treatment.
Oh, dear.
Finish her.
They gave her a permanent silent treatment, right? They gave her those papers.
Yeah, so a lack of communication. I asked the general question. So it's a lack of communication abuse, because that was what the lady was implying. It's also
right.
It
all depends. It all depends on who's using the strategy.
Yeah. So Brother Malin did say that you need to have more information more information on both sides, because it could be a little bit abusive. In what circumstance can it be abusive, Brother Michael?
Well, again, I mean, in terms of the man, and I think that a lot of times men basically do it not because they just don't want to talk to their women. I think a lot of times we run into these brick walls, right? having to repeat ourselves, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
you got a wife that is somewhat combative, right? Or argumentative, right? Or being disrespectful, or she did something that you deliberately told her not to do, right? Rebellious, right? It is a strategy. I mean, it is a strategy that definitely precedes giving her walking papers, right? Because you may have to also give her a bill of divorce, give her a walking paper. So that may be one of the graceful strategies that you can use. It's interpreted as abuse, but the next step could be divorce.
It's funny because when we were in church, we call it church discipline.
Yeah, church.
Yes.
But when it comes home, oh no, you don't have the right. Who are you to apply any form of discipline? And think about it, right? And Bamidbar in the book of Numbers, as we had discussed, chapter 30, if I'm not mistaken, where it talks about the vows, right? If a woman were to decide, if a wife, I keep saying woman, if a wife,
yeah,
or concubine or daughter, so if you're a woman and you don't fit categorically in one of those, I'm not referring to them. But if a wife, a concubine, a servant, or a daughter were to decide to go on a fast, prior to going on that fast, they have to clear that to make sure that is permissible with her ish. Her ish may say no. And if he says no, then that's what it is. Imagine that, right? I'm going to go on a fast. Your ish says, no, I don't. That's not something I want you to do right now. And she says, I'm going to do it anyway. The idea is that the Most High is going to honor my rebellion because it's what I want to do versus yielding to the order and instruction, right? So if a woman decided, well, I want to remove my presence, right? And that's what I want to do. And he's not blessing that, if you will. Once again, we go back to dealing with protection, even from yourself. Like you don't see, like I like this analogy of like birds flying, right? I use this with my family all the time. He's put me at the top and I'm flying higher than the trees, right? And your emotes, my wives, the mothers, they are flying at the level of the top of the trees. And you, my children, you all are flying at different levels in these trees. And there's a fire and there's smoke all throughout the trees. You have to trust that at the altitude that I'm flying, that even though I say veer to the right, and it's not what you want to do because you think you know, you can't see what I can see further down the way. And so your responsibility is to trust what I see and yield to that. Sarah didn't want to go into Pharaoh's house, Abimelech's Elimelech's house.
Abimelech would have been, yeah.
But she yielded to Abraham.
Yes.
She did what he said. And in the end, it turned out to be a blessing to them. Rivka or Rebecca, excuse me, didn't want to do the same thing. But she, like Sarah, she learned you yield to your ish because he is the Adon. He's the master. He's the one that will ultimately be responsible for what you say and what you do. It wasn't even in the New Testament. It wasn't women going, hey, I found this man. I'm bringing him home. Let me gather the family. Y'all listen and do what he says. It was the brothers. Cornelius went and gathered his whole house, said, hey, come listen to these men. This is what we about to do. The jailer that had Paul and Shaul thrown in the jail. When all of that finished and they were all there and he yielded, he called him and his whole house together and said, yo, listen to what these men are gonna like. The responsibility is always on the man to lead his house. And you will always have problems if you operate from a place of we are equal in authority. Because it's not designed to be equal in authority. It's designed for him to be responsible and for him to relinquish freedom, as he leads his house. And what you do with that, man, can be salvific or can be terrible.
Right. It's two things that you said here that's very profound. Is number one, what the world interprets, as we've seen from these videos, what the world interprets as abuse, Yah has designed for men to see at a higher altitude from what a Isha can see, right? For her protection,
right?
For her benefit. Women of this modern age are saying that it is abuse, but Yah is saying that it is no, for her protection, to subject herself, even as to the examples that you gave with Rebecca and with Sarah, right? It may not have been something that they wanted to yield to, but they did so out of reverence, right? For their ish, right? For their husband. And as a result of it, how did they come out on the other side? Like, they were blessed when they came out of it, right? It didn't make sense, right? And a lot of times women will see that in this, it's like, well, you're going the wrong way. That's not going to work, right? And not realize that when you as a woman, as a daughter of Zion, you become a helpmeet and you be cooperative to your ish, right? There's an anointing
when you trust him.
When you trust him, right? And you obey. When you trust and you obey, there's an anointing residue, right? That can bring you into a place that doesn't make sense.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. When that happens, I can't speak for all men, okay? When that happened to me, right? I was able to relinquish because I saw her loyalty to me, which caused me to trust her word. So when she would say, hey, watch out for this chick, I could trust that what she was saying wasn't because she was trying to prevent me from, walking in polygyny, but she could see this woman is evil. Like, that woman is trying to circumvent or sabotage you in some way, and I was able to trust her word because she demonstrated that she had my best interest at heart, not because she was trying to control stuff, but because she yielded and submitted. And I could trust her submission. That's when she would speak, I got to look at it like, let me consider, because this might be really wise and profound, what she's saying. And so it's a symbiotic relationship of giving and taking. So now, right, because she's yielded, she's submitted, she's doing things she may not want to do, but she trusts my words. Right now, when she's like, hey,
I just want to say to you, you keep it up, you're gonna get a kiss tonight.
Oh,
so you're doing good, man. You are working really good. Now I got it.
But check this out. So now when she comes to me and she says, hey, I think I need to fast, my answer is not no, it's how long? Is this something that you want me to do with you? What's going on? Let me inquire. Like, what's going on? How, how you feeling? And not like I had, my second wife had decided that she was going to fast with another sister relating to her marital situation. Right? When we operate from a place of I yield, I submit, I'm not arguing with you, I just lay this at your feet. It changes the dynamic of the relationship. And I don't have to feel like I have to control. I'm looking at you, wife or daughter or servant or concubine or sister, as a voice of wisdom when you speak. If you operate this way, when you were defiant and you're trying to operate like an equal and all this jazz, and I say equal, I'm talking about in relation to authority.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, definitely is a telltale sign for sure. For sure.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go on a rant. I'm sorry.
No, it's profound. I love it. It's just insight for sure.
We're here for your rants, brother. We're here for your rants.
we are digging into it. This topic. I think I got some comments here.
We haven't even gotten to the banners yet. We haven't even gotten to the banners.
Facts. The real men know their women. Yeah, you got to know them. And Brother Melno says,
yes, husbands, dwell with your wives according to knowledge, right?
But it's not the same.
Right?
Brother, can you read that a little bit? My eyes are hurting me a little bit here.
Time spent figuring out a situation, not wanting to rehash the same talking points, not wanting to speak until you have your decision made, etc.
You're talking about the silence treatment. It's not really it's not a bad thing.
Yo, I have a saying. In my house, I do not argue with women.
That's a futile thing to do anyway. It's true.
Because I'm messing her up. Whoever this, woman entity is.
Yeah.
Because if I participate in that, then she goes home and she's like, yeah, this is the way it should be. And I've participated in messing up whatever her stuff is. So oftentimes, my first question is, what did he say? What did your E say? Or what did your Abba say? What did your father say?
Yeah.
Why did I ask him? Well, you might want to go ask him before you make a decision, because you kind of in error if you don't get the guidance. Whoever your person of authority, covering, whatever cute word you want to use right there, whoever that person is, what do they say?
Right. Yeah, those two interesting dynamics. The husband, both dope. Brother Ak needs to show a pic of that dopamine.
It's my favorite breed.
Yeah. Send me a picture. I'll put it up. Yeah, but but it's an interesting dynamic. His power is an understanding that his presence, you understand, is very powerful, and he can remove it.
That's it.
Her power is understanding that when she taps into agreement, even when it doesn't sound like it makes sense, she has power. Both can be frightening, right? Because he can be afraid if he doesn't say something, or he doesn't, answer her question, or he doesn't try to get her to understand. She's not going to get it. She need to understand that she need to submit, right? So he's going to find himself being pulled into arguing. Right. While at the same token, on the flip side, it's frightening for her, because I know he's going the wrong way. I drove this route like 10 times, but now not realizing that he's going this route, you never know that the Most High could be having you avoid an accident.
That's true.
Right?
So here's
that's a good question.
Here's a good question, Brother Michael. I think we've had these discussions on the side, but is domestic discipline correct? Because that's a thing these days.
I mean, I don't see any prescription. I don't see any scriptural prescription for men, because there are men that actually, even in the Torah community, that believe in spanking their wives and all that stuff. I don't see that in the text.
Nah.
That's some extra biblical, how would you say, masculine.
That must be in the Talmud.
I don't see it. Like, I don't see it in the text. So I don't. If you show me sex, then we could talk about it. But I really don't see it. So this idea of punishing women to the point. I mean, listen, removing your presence is very powerful, very effective, very effective, because Call for Wisdom. This is Matriarchy Monday. Could you
Yeah.
explain to us, what does the
Mhm.
presence of a man mean to his woman?
Well, it is for women. It is like they say, the coin of the realm. So
Mm,
attention is what we really appreciate. That's why all these women are showing themselves on the Instagram and everywhere else on social media. We love attention, but we love it the most from the man that we love the most as well. So from you, from the husband, is what it means the most value. And so when you give us pure, undivided attention, that is great. But when you withdraw that from us as a punishment, it hurts just as equally, right? So
mm,
that is, we see that example in women
yes,
complaining of the emotional abuse is when a man removes his presence or limits his words, and he doesn't express himself as she wishes. All this is a withdrawing of your presence, of your thoughts were not connected to you. And again, it's a form of protection because we need that connection with the man to be protected. So when he withdraws himself, we feel vulnerable. Although you
right.
might be monitoring from a distance, we still feel vulnerable. And so it's a lot. It
Very,
means a lot.
very good, interesting point, because you
Mm-hmm.
made me think of how Yah says to the fallen woman, your
Mm-hmm.
desire will be unto your husband,
Mm-hmm. We do
He
right?
it
will
desire.
rule over you.
So,
And he
she
will rule over.
insatiable desire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, one that is likened to an ungodly desire, right? And if
Mm-hmm.
it's not
Mm-hmm.
checked, it has to be checked with his rulership over it, right? And his
Yeah.
rulership over her, he has to check it.
He has
If
to
he
check
doesn't
it.
check it, it can lead to ruin. It can lead to ruin. And so now for him to remove his presence, you understand, which is a form of him checking it,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's checking it without even saying he is. He's
Mm-hmm.
checking it without lifting a hand. Like, he don't have to hit her, right? But he
No.
his presence, right? It is a form of checking it. It's a form of taking control.
So this is the last one I'm going to show, and this one's a little bit touchy. So if there's any minors watching this particular show, probably won't want to watch it, but it hits hard because a lot of women do consider that they can be um, SA'd for
Mm.
YouTube in terms of in their marriage, right? Abused by
Ooh,
their husband in that regard. And I think we need to talk about it. We're going to hit
yeah.
that topic. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to share this screen, and this is a form of abuse. And let's see how we can talk about that a little bit.
Anything a woman does in her marriage to keep the peace or keep her husband happy and satisfied is absolutely coercion, like this comment states. Here are more stories from women who have been coerced and violated in the marital bedroom. Happened to me for 8 years. The women in the congregation, including my mother, told me it was my duty. I was 9 months pregnant with twins, and he demanded I put out for my own good to help start labor. It was one of the most vicious fights we ever had. He literally said, "Schmegs is my currency." A few years later, after I had reconstructive surgery on my birth canal, he was so impatient, and when I refused, he said, "Your mouth still works." If I dared to be unenthusiastic or, God forbid, cry, I would be punished, and so would our kids. In the beginning, I could feel his energy shift towards me if we went longer than 2 days without schmegs. As the years went by, he would get angry when I got my period and would say things like, "Just because you're bleeding doesn't mean my needs can't be met." He would tell me to go have a shower at night, and that was code for it was time for schmegs. He would lay naked on the bed waiting for me. If I took too long, he would order me out of a shower because he was waiting again for his needs to be met. If we got into a fight and I made it clear that I didn't want to have schmegs, I would wake up later being entered without consent. I would have to put out every day to avoid his anger and accusations, ... I also had to help him with his urine drinking schmink, ... I had to perform and produce and also act like I liked it. If I wasn't enthusiastic enough, there would be yelling and name calling. My husband was a pilot, so when he came home from traveling, if he wasn't met with it, the entire home visit with his children would be ruined. Mine always told me that I never had a choice because I belonged to him, and reminded me often that because he loved me, he didn't want to hurt me, but he could because I was weak. When I said no because our young daughter was outside the door listening, he gave himself permission to go see hookers and blamed me for it. We'll have to.
Okay, so that is stories about smack abuse. I would like to put it nicely like she does. It does happen. I have some sisters who have some horrible stories about that within a marriage. So, what's she say? What can we say about that?
What I mean, what would be a question that you would want to ask the audience?
Well, this is what the topic is about. Where's the line for women to endure life-threatening abuse? Is that considered life-threatening abuse for a man to be her husband to force himself on her,
That's
or
a good question.
in the bedroom?
Obviously, there's a form of abuse, right? There are abuses that are being listed in what this woman is reading out.
She did. Some of them are unclean acts as well.
Are they life-threatening? That's the question.
Yeah.
Are they life-threatening? Are these any of these abuses that this woman listed here, are they life-threatening? What do you guys say? Did you hear anything that she listed that was life-threatening?
I can record some of them. Some of them is right after giving birth. I think she said 2 months after, or whatever.
I think we should go here first before we do that. Let's do this. We defined abuse the last time. What is life-threatening abuse?
What is life-threatening?
What would be life-threatening abuse, guys? Put it in the comment section. How would you define life-threatening abuse? Is it biblical for a wife to endure life-threatening abuse? How can we define life-threatening? I see the comments coming in.
There is a distinctive difference between life-threatening and life-altering.
Life-altering.
Marriage is life-altering. Parenthood is life-altering. Depending on the job, it is life-altering. Life-threatening. Okay? Who has the ultimate authority over your life?
The
Most High Yah. And so disobedience to his instructions would be life-threatening. So my responsibility, whether I'm looking at it as a husband, right? And I'll say that as I look at it as a husband, because I'm looking to be a reflection. My responsibility is to be life-altering. If your life is the same as it was when you was living in your mama's house, then I failed as a husband, because I have to alter your life in some way, right? Now, as a wife, and this is the beauty in the dichotomy, because now I have to look at myself, as the body of this bride. I have to look at myself as this bride, and to my master, to my ish, and I have to ask myself: is obedience to the Most High and whatever his instructions are life-threatening? No. But is disobedience? Yes. It's supposed to be life-altering. It's not supposed to be life-threatening. But life-threatening comes into play when one of the two of us are operating outside of the parameters of his instruction. And so as you were playing this video, I put into the chat Yirmiyahu or Jeremiah chapter 10, verses 2 and the beginning of verse
Should
3.
we read that?
Oh, we can.
Yeah.
2. All right, so I'll go there. Let me pull it up so everyone can see it on the screen. All right.
And I pulled it from the LSB. I know you like that translation, so when I had copied it in.
All right.
We started verse 1.
All right. Yeah, we got one.
You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
All right. Hear the word which Yah speaks to you, O house of Yisrael. Thus says Yah, do not learn the way of the nations. King James says the heathen. And do not be terrified by the signs of the Shamayim or the heavens, although the nations are terrified by them. For the statutes of the peoples are vanity. And then he goes and he gives examples of their vanity. So the typical person will, layperson reads this and would take what I'm saying and go, no, he's not talking about that. He's talking about Christmas trees, or he's talking about making idols. But you see the ways of the heathen or the ways of the nation. Hell, America is designed to create idols, whether now it's creating the idol in you, American Idol. It's creating you to be your own idol. Narcissism, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, hell, YouTube. Like, it's creating you to be your own idol. So this is very applicable, right? So when he tells us in the Torah that to essentially to master the Torah, because this is your wisdom, this is your understanding. When we deviate from that, we put ourselves in a situation that is life-threatening. Not life-altering, life-threatening. And we see an example of that with the woman that was identified as a concubine to the Levite, Bethlehem, Judah. When she decided to up and leave and go to her parents' house. And let's just assume she got permission from her master, her ish. So after a few months, he goes to her. And then her parents are like, no, stay, no, stay. So after a few days, he stays. And then he finally, on the third day, he's like, no, we got to go. We're not staying another night. But had they not left their original abode, what happened to her would have never happened. And what I'm not saying is, to all women out there in the streets, abuse is your fault. That is not what I am saying at all. What I'm saying is there are times where if we are yielding to just what the instructions say, I'm not talking about him being wrong or whatever. I'm saying if we just yield and look at the instructions of the Torah and let that be our guiding principles, we can avoid oftentimes life-threatening situations. Like if any of my daughters decided to just walk out the door and just go on this long walk, let's say to another city, without permission, without anybody knowing where she is, she puts herself in a position of life threatening because any man could stop and pick her up and violate her. Do you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Any that could happen to anyone. And I'm using this example because it is a real life example. It is something that has actually happened, right? Had a daughter decided, hey, an adult I'm gonna go for a walk. She didn't say nothing to nobody. She just went for a walk. What happened was a nice man gave her a ride out on her walk. And thankfully we live in a super small town. What he did was he started calling around and was like, hey, who might this young lady belong to? And they routed him to me. And this man was on his way to work. He drives to my house and tells me, hey, is there a young lady that belongs to your house, looks like this? Yes. Hey, I just want to let you know, I gave her a ride to the gas. I saw her walking, gave her a ride to the gas station, bought her something to eat. I swear to you, I didn't do nothing, da-da-da.
Wow.
So we drove to the gas station, was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? And she just wanted to go for a walk and clear her head. And this was a wonderful example that I was able to teach my family on how important it is to be accountable, right? No one's trying to micromanage every little thing in your life. It is a matter of safety, right? You're an adult. You can go. But if you'd have got lost, if you'd got kidnapped, trafficked, whatever, the police wouldn't even test the case for 48 hours.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, thankfully, nothing happened to her. But had something happened to her, it would have happened because she deviated from the instructions. And I'm giving this example. I'm being transparent about something that happened in my own life because I'm trying to drive the point that, yes, sometimes it is purely about, here's the scale, is what I'm looking at wanting to do, is it, or not wanting to do, is it life-threatening or is it just being rebellious? I just don't want to, whatever. I just don't want to cook. I just don't want to, whatever the situation is it truly that this is not good, or is it that you're just choosing to be rebellious? And if you're choosing to be rebellious, you set yourself apart for the Most High to teach you a lesson. And I assure you, you don't want to learn from him.
Not at all.
Not from the consequence aspect.
Yes.
Because we got a whole book that shows us consequences. So for him, for Elohim to have to deviate from all the positive that's supposed to happen in your life, and for it to have to cultivate a situation for you to learn.
Yeah. On point. Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. If it's like, I see that there's some people that commented on this one, Sister D.
Yeah, there's a couple of comments.
Yeah,
Brother Graybeard said here, deliberate uncleanness would be spiritual life threatening. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only spiritually life threatening, but it can be literally physically life threatening, because
now we're talking about deviating from the instructions.
Right? It can open one up to disease, right? Sexually transmitted diseases, right?
So that is another case. I have a sisters who are their husband has forced them to do certain things that are risky.
Yeah. I mean, you'll have some men who will bring prostitutes into their home, right?
That's threesomes, yeah.
The wives to participate, right?
Is that life threatening?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Because the process, you could have some AIDS or something like that, and you can give it to your wife.
Yeah. Our kids certainly not biblical, man.
Life-threatening abuse can threaten your life. That's the definition.
That's the definition. Exactly. Treat her like I love the assembly. Yes.
Amen.
This is a difficult subject. Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It is.
Yes, I love it though. Yes.
No. But we need to deal with this. Right. We really need to deal with this, right?
Yeah.
Sent out to the 12 tribes on how to act. Yes. No spanking wives for me, unless of course she asks.
That's different.
Hey, be sure it's not a setup.
Now, for the show, would they ask for it? She asking for it.
Spanking is required.
Yeah. a husband isn't supposed to end up being your predator. No, well, no.
He's your pastor, but not your predator. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But so there should probably be a little more clarity to that. Like,
you
how is
a
husband? How is your husband your predator? I mean, in the bedroom, if he the predator and you the prey, I mean,
right.
Well, we're talking about life-threatening abuse,
right?
So, and we're just talking about sexual abuse too, right? So, there is a line being crossed.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that.
Right. Yeah. I think we make the mistake of imagining daughters in those positions, but if we are doing do it on jobs, I was willing they will not be in those positions if we're doing our jobs. Yeah.
I mean, you can't micromanage a wife, a daughter, a servant, every step of the day. And this is where, freedom comes in. And honestly, this is a situation, for me, that it made me understand the Torah even more, where the Most High would allow for punishment to be so, but the purpose is that all of Israel see or hear about it, and they'd be like, I don't that ain't happening to me. You only hear about a man picking up sticks on the Shabbat one time.
That was it. Yeah.
One time.
You know what, too, because you helped me out with something. That's it. Yo, you just dropping bombs tonight, brother. I never really interpreted, which is one of those difficult passages of that priest with his concubine, and how if she would have never gone astray, if she would have never took it upon herself and just leave to go back to her father's house, right? They would have never been in that position of going through this town, right, where it would have brought danger. And so what he decided to do, let her be sacrificed. That's what he did. He decided, listen, I'm not going to sacrifice my life
for the sake of the lives of everybody else. Like, this was your doing.
Yes.
Now you got to eat the cost.
Yes.
That's a harsh one. That's really hard. And then how about Tamar? You remember David's and also David's daughter with his son. Sometimes these abuse happens and has nothing to do with the sin of the daughter.
Sure, I agree with that completely.
Right.
I believe that was an instrument of the Most High's prophetic word over David or David, when he told them the sword would never depart from your house. So that let you know that things were going to start happening, and it might not happen immediately. These cute little babies, as you love them, they got to grow up. And when these young men, because remember, Absalom at one point was a baby. He was probably cute. The Bible says he was a little handsome young man, right? Amnon at some point, I would hope he was a handsome man too. Tamar, I would hope she looked like her mama. I could see it's not that the Most High said this got to happen, this got to happen, this got to happen. I likened it to the snakes in the Torah, where it talks about that when the people started complaining, that he allowed fiery serpents to come in and started biting the people, and people were dying, and then Aharon went and took censers off the altar and came and stood between the living and the dead. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Check it out. The snakes, serpents, whatever you want to call them, the serpents were there the whole time. They were just held back. They were just held back. And when the Most High was like, it's time, he removes his hand, they now can do a thing. We constantly see the hand of protection on Yah's people when they obey. And we see the atrocities that he is protecting us from when they disobey, because you see the full fury of violence that can happen on a person's life. So it's not that there wasn't an innate desire in all of his sons, David's sons, to want a woman. But when this happened, now the restrictions are lifted and you get to see the full breadth of desire and how it can overtake a person. And then it caused this. And then David's son kills him. And now this son is estranged from David because he killed the other son. And now later, this son now thinks he's the king. Like, oh my gosh. If only David would have not done what he did with Bathsheba, all of this could have been prevented because it would have been secured, dormant, or locked away from them.
Right. And think of it, he was the father of Israel at that point in time because he was Israel's king. He executed abuse on one of his men, took the man's wife, and then had the man killed on the front lines. He executed life-threatening abuse on Uriah, and that thing spiraled out of consequence after consequence after consequence after consequence, all because he decided to go outside of Yah's will or his way of doing things. Right?
He tried to do to Uriah what Shaul tried to do to him.
Interesting. Never thought about that.
But like he was successful.
Yeah.
Right.
And I guess he thought he was above the law.
Right.
But that consequence hit him so hard.
Yeah. For sure. He listen, we read about it in his many Psalms.
Yeah.
We read about it in his many Psalms. Sirach 7:25, marry thy daughter, and so shall thou have performed the weighty matter. But give her to a man of understanding.
Okay. Yes.
You want to read that, sis?
Some weirdo tried to pick up my wife from the hospital. I thought she stayed in the hospital with her
stepdad. But she went outside. I wouldn't have appreciated if she let me know. I probably would have told.
Yeah, told her to stay inside, he says, right?
Yeah.
But the whole point is that we women do need to be careful because sometimes we put ourselves in danger for abuse and trouble.
Well, it's that I think it's the consequence isn't considered, or oftentimes you all think that the gravity of what the consequence would be, it won't happen to me. Like for example, a woman who decides to get into an argument with a man at the grocery store, and then she calls her husband or her brother to come and address the situation, and when they show up to rescue her from the situation, and she keeps going, right? Somebody winds up shot or stabbed or ran over or whatever, and it all could have been avoided had she considered the gravity, if I take it there, of what could happen.
That's true.
Yep, indeed.
So a husband should not endure life-threatening things either. You know, if he has a wife that is dangerous with her mouth, with her words, man, he should consider, is this a danger that I'm willing to yield myself to?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with you, brother. Bear says that the first few videos were not life-threatening, but this last one was. Yeah. I agree. Well, I think. Okay, so I think we'll catch up on the rest of the chat later, brother Michael. Would you like to continue?
Definitely. Let's continue. Let's get into where we picked up, or we'll pick up where we left off at, or going into what we cut off at, right? That's here. In all that we said so far, right? last week and even today, right? And all that we said, let me pull up the screen. Hold on a second. Pull up the screen. All right. And all that we said last time, what is Yah's message sent to husbands when they abuse their wives? What is the message, right? Let me just pull this off for now. I don't want you guys to necessarily read it for now. Hold on, let me pull it off. What is Yah's message to men? What is his message?
You know, Yah's justice is beyond comprehension. When he balances a scale, the person on the receiving end of that whooping, it does not think that this is balanced. Like, you think about David killed one man. And the consequence of that is his whole house fell.
Yeah.
Right.
He took a man away from the opportunity of establishing his house.
Yeah.
And the only reason Shlomo made it was because of the promise that the Most High had made.
Right.
It's the only reason.
Right.
So his timing is not our timing. And if you, as a wife, are in are seeking refuge from a life-threatening abuse, then just understand, it's not necessarily your responsibility to seek retribution. Trust that the Most High will recompense you,
will vindicate you. Yes.
Beyond what you could think. Or if he can bless, pressed down, shaken together, running over, if he can bless beyond comprehension, if he can blessing on blessing, what do you think he will do in relation to just some women are single mothers as a consequence.
As a consequence of what?
As a generational curse.
Yeah.
That's how the gravity of when the Most High provides a consequence, like when he re-administers justice, it could affect your generations.
Yeah. It's a lineage. Yeah, it's a lineage effect.
You have to be careful how, like the brother says, be careful how you treat his daughters. Then
that's it.
Be a lineage effect, right?
Yeah, brother Beard says, lead, guide, protects. She is given you for a time, and is the daughter of the father. Yeah,
the father, exactly. So is his daughter Abigail, right?
Great. I was thinking it, and I was like,
so is his daughter Abigail, right? Think about it. She was being so submissive in the point that she was being thoughtful of her husband in his ignorance, right? His foolishness, right? That she put herself vulnerably in a position to save her husband's life. And what did it ultimately lead to? It led to Yah taking that man's life a week later, right? And setting her up into a position where she now becomes the wife of a king.
Wow. Yeah. Good point.
The Most High declared death on Nabal, and it took a week.
Not long
to catch up.
Yeah.
The action happened, and there's a week where it just manifested itself until That's
Yeah.
You better be
That's
careful.
crazy.
We got to be careful.
Oh,
Yeah. Wow.
Life threatening.
It's easy to kill somebody. It's Coach, it's easy to shoot somebody. Pow, you're dead. It's another thing when you can say death is coming for you and you have 7 days. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's like that Hebrews 10:3. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of a living God.
Yes.
So the brothers have to be careful about that.
Yes.
Wow.
And women.
And we
Because some
both
of them
know.
be laying hands on their husbands.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Let me pull the article back up.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Oh man, I lost the document. No. Oh man, I gotta reconfigure this back up. I'm sorry. Go ahead, you guys can talk. Let me do this again.
And we can go down through the rest of the comments.
Yes.
Yeah, please do that. Let me get a chance.
So brother says, if you haven't done your job as a father, that's on you. You disrespect, but it's our job to vet them. So I guess you're blaming some of the fathers for the choices that their daughters get into. Possible. Let's see here. We read that. Okay, this one.
Yes.
Can you read that, brother? I'm having a hard time reading.
Some men end up solo due to consequences also.
Yes.
Yes. And you think about it, that like I know a man. I used to be in an organization where this man that I'm speaking of right now is an elder in Georgia. Was an elder in Georgia. And this man was arranged with a woman, right? And so they became married. They joined in union. This older man, this younger woman, and like she was in her like 20s. She had 2 children, a little boy and a little girl, and he was just older, supposed to be a little more established. And so that didn't work out. She allegedly she was violent toward him, and one day he got enough and he grabbed her, threw her on the floor, right? So that excommunicated him from that configuration, that assembly, that excommunicated him, right? So just a few short while later, this brother gets into a relationship with a woman. Okay, this is real life, right? This is in Georgia, and they get into an altercation, and he kills her. He shoots her and kills her. And this was all like there's a recording of it, of the conversation that was being had. So it's as if maybe she was like on Facebook Live or something and recording it for proof. Okay, this brother is now in jail, or he's either in jail or in prison because I'm not sure if he has a trial yet. But yeah, so staying in a life-threatening situation is not good. It's called life-threatening for a reason. But my point is, this man had a son, okay, an adult son. And by the behavior of his father, he never wanted to have kids. He doesn't have any kids. He never wanted to have kids.
Yeah, that.
For 2 reasons. He didn't want to deal with, the turmoil or whatever that situation produced, based upon the relationship with his father. And secondly, he didn't want to continue his father's lineage.
He really? Wow.
So,
wow.
You see what I'm saying? Like the most high can cut you off in ways that you cannot imagine.
Yes, he can. again. All right, so I got the article up here. So the question is, in all that we said last time, what is Yah's message since the husbands when they abuse their wives? So here we have, if you abuse it, you lose it. In the Torah, there's a clear principle. If you abuse it, you lose it. Yah removes stewardship and abusive leaders and husbands. There are many parables showing this principle, like the parable of the talents, right? Okay. The servant, was obviously being abusive towards the one talent that was given to him. And then you have the parable of the wicked servant, right? Who beat and abused his fellow servants who was entrusted in his care, right?
Mhm.
And then we also see that Yah also spared his people from abusive nations time and time again.
Mhm.
So again, if you abuse it, you lose it. So this principle is replete or resounding throughout Scripture, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, cool. So let's go to the next one.
Mhm.
All right. Who is a woman in the sight of Yah? Who is a woman in the
How
sight of
much
Yah?
value does she have
Right.
in Yah's
Right.
eyes?
Who is a woman in sight? And can a husband do whatever he wishes just because he's Torah observant? And who does the husband answer to?
Hmm.
Or how much value does she has in Yah's eyes? Right.
This is
That's
a
the topic.
really important question because I get that email to me a lot from my sisters, like especially from Torah observant husbands who seem to see them as so low on the totem pole that they don't feel that they have much value in Yah's eyes.
Well, I think a question that's
Mm.
definitely foundational to that is, what
Mm.
makes a woman think that she does not have value in Yah's eyes?
I think it's a process of being abused so much by your abuser, like genuinely abused, that it strips you of your humanity in a sense. You feel like you have
Yeah, I agree. Coupled with another abuse, what would be the other form of abuse? Which
psychological,
could have began which right psychological, which could have
spiritual.
began be spiritual abuse, because you could have been taught, right, when you get married you have to be submissive to your husband, and so there's this expectation that she's now going into the marriage that she doesn't want to honor it, right? Like for instance, Roman Catholicism, in the Council of Trent, right, in 63. In there you have the clause that says that marriage is indissoluble, meaning that you can never divorce under any circumstances. Right? That it's not permissible under Roman Catholicism. So there's this notion that you can literally take abuse in your marriage and you have no recourse. You just have to accept it, because marriage under no circumstances is to have divorce is acceptable in God's eyes.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's religious abuse. When you have been ill-informed, right? You've been misinformed, right? You've had you've been mistaught, right? That can translate into your marriage. So your perspective as a wife, as an Isha, right, can hinge heavily, based on what you've been taught prior to even coming into marriage. What do you guys say?
That one is really sensitive. That hits home really sensitive, because that would make a woman put up with a lot of life-threatening situations because she thinks that she's breaking some covenant of Yah by running away from that, right?
Right.
And
exactly. Supposed to just take it, right?
First, we'll just take it like that's what Yah wants us to do, just be there like a punching bag or be abused. Yeah.
The problem with that is how we are so far removed from submitting to the order, right? Because if fathers were participating heavily in who their daughters are with, one, they wouldn't be being pimped out through dating,
Mm. Mm.
Number two, they would have a relationship with this man that is such a way that it would be a shame to this man, his family, his community, all of that, if he is found to be abusive in any capacity. Because, and he wouldn't participate in that because of his love and respect that he had for her father. And you could think back to the situation of the concubine, right? He didn't go run her down. Like this man, this Levite had such respect for her parents that he trusted that she would be okay at home. And when he decided to go and reunite to bring her back, he didn't kick the door in, give me my wife, blah, blah, blah. He stayed with the family. Like there was a reunification process that took place over the course of this 3 days. Right? And so that speaks highly of how these relationships should work. That I have so much respect for this man that I'm not going to abuse the work that he put into his daughter. Simultaneously, I'm going to encourage my daughter to work things out with this man. Because of the love that we have, me and this man, we have for each other. No homo, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The father became like Paul, Rav Shaul, like we did last week on the Philemon, right? His letter to Philemon. That's how the father, he was in Paul's position, right? You know, he's brokering the reunion between his son-in-law and his daughter, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
So if we have that, right, then that in and of itself reduces abuse because of the shame that you carry as a man.
Exactly.
And don't nobody else want to give their daughters to you. So, you know, now you got to be a monogamous man unless you just snatching them up from the world because your character is less than.
Exactly. All right.
So who does the husband have to answer to then?
Well, that's a good question. Because if we look at it from a biblical perspective, that husband has to answer to everyone above him. Okay? Meaning his father, the head of his clan, his family, his clan, his tribe, his community. From a able to enact vengeance upon you perspective, the Most High. But again, that goes back to the aspect of women. Women are valuable. Women are so valuable. They are precious to the Most High. Remember, everything that the Most High creates is good. Even if it's for bad use, it's good. Because it's going to do its function.
Right.
And so the intent is to be the best good that you can be as a woman, as a Isha, right? So that no man would even think to treat you any way other than good.
I like that. I like that. And it all stems from how that father teaches them. Exactly.
But that doesn't mean that she's not replaceable. Because if she chooses to misuse or abuse her position, to manipulate her role, her position, her ability to even reproduce, then she may not be fit for use for that man.
Right. And I think that, to the point earlier in the Roman Catholic Church, introducing that clause and that false doctrine polity that says that marriage is indissoluble, the underlying message in that polity is that the woman is not replaceable. No matter how bad she is, no matter how evil she is, no matter how wicked she is, then you are stuck with her. She is not replaceable. You just have to tough it on out.
Right.
And so it started this going back 500 years ago when they implemented it. It started this whole notion of setting the stage, the foundation of where we have with feminism today, with this whole idea of, feeling obligated to a woman who is a monster, right? Who is a terror in her own home, right?
Right.
And so, that notion that she is not replaceable, is it you don't get that from the pages of scripture. But let's go to the next one. All right. So what is the safest recourse for a woman being abused? What is the safest recourse? Let's quick definition, working definition of the word recourse. Her ability to do what? What is recourse? Her ability to do what?
Are you at? Oh, I thought you was asking. And I thought it was rhetorical.
A working definition for would be a source of help in a difficult situation. The use of pray, possibly leave, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Her recourse, that's basically what it is. What's her way, right? What's her safest way, right, of making her situation safer or better?
Right. Course is like direction. Recourse is like redirect.
Her ability to make her situation better or safer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what is the safest recourse for a woman being abused? And when we're talking about abuse, we are literally talking about, according to the title, life-threatening abuse. Right? So what is the safest recourse for a woman being or experiencing life-threatening abuse? That's the question.
Yeah. I agree with the brother Graybeard. Pray and possibly leave.
That's the safest, right? Pray and possibly leave. Okay.
What is the life threatening? You know what I'm saying? Every situation is different.
Exactly. Well, that's
like a woman might say, I don't want to get pregnant because, I heard that there's a statistic that, there's a percentage of women who suffer from death from carrying a child. So I don't ever want to carry a child. Life. He wants me to carry his child. Life-threatening abuse. I don't look at that situation as a flea situation.
What are you going to say, sis?
Let me talk on behalf of the sisters that do communicate with me. There's a lot of life-threatening abuse going on, especially, let's say, sexually.
Okay.
Their husband has taken on another woman who has AIDS, a prostitute, threesomes that are not clean, that are going to give them STDs. This is happening. Okay.
He's engaging in homosexuality.
Oh, God.
The abuse of these things are real, right? So I would consider these life-threatening. What's the recourse?
Absolutely.
Right. He's on drugs. He's taking heroin.
He's
using pills. Right.
You can get something from that situation. That these are real life situations.
I mean, where they fathers at?
Well, we could, yeah.
And I don't just mean these women's birth fathers. I'm saying like their father-in-law. Like, where are the fathers?
Okay.
Yeah, where are the big brothers? Where are the these safe haven places?
Big brother.
within the family. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this is the problem of where we're at today. Like, we have people coming out of wherever. Most are coming out of Christianity, right?
Yeah.
So they're not familiar or acclimated with the Torah culture and lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
They're things. And they get hold of the revelation, right, of polygyny, right? And so you have these men who coerce their women, right, to convince their women to participate, but because they do not have guidance, they haven't been taught, they have no levels of accountability with other men, right? So they become these lone ranger, right, Torah observing, wannabe polygynous men. And so what they do is they run them up, right? They have it in their own home. They run a train wreck, right? And they force their women into life-threatening situations. And that's what's going on, right? And so that's what we're dealing with tonight. We're dealing with the fact that there are brothers out here who are ill-informed, and they are making life-threatening, abusive situations for the women that they have made flesh of their flesh and bone of their bones. And so that's what we're touching. That's what we're touching. We want to know, we have established a community yet. Yes, you said it, brother. We haven't lived the culture yet. No, not at all. So, we get, listen, you got people that are in Christianity, right? I myself was one who was in Christianity, calling myself, I'm going to practice polygyny, and I'm going to use these passages that's in the Torah, right, without adapting to the whole lifestyle, right? And what happened? It blew up in my home. It blew up in my home. I didn't have the levels of accountability. I had no mentorship. I had no guidance. I didn't see any examples. I didn't even know how to walk this thing. And all I know is Exodus 21 said this, Deuteronomy 5 said that, right? This all I knew. I knew the passages, right? Without adapting or being fully acclimated into the heritage and lifestyle of a Torah observer.
Yeah,
and so
there's a pattern there.
You can't cherry pick polygyny. You can't. You cannot. It is designed to go along with everything. And James said it. I mean, if I violate one law, I'm guilty of the whole. Right? Right? So, there's no way of cherry picking this thing because you like the outcome of polygyny. Right? No, it's designed to work in concert with the whole system, the whole entire system. You can't compartmentalize this and take the parts that you like and leave the other parts. That's not how y'all's laws work. They don't work that way.
No,
brothers are abusing their situations, their families, their homes, their women, right? And they're making life-threatening situations.
There's a pattern that I notice with the situations. Usually the isolation part, taking you away from your family, the withdrawing themselves on their own without any accountability to any brotherhood or any other person.
Listen, that's the complaint. That's the complaint people had who left straightway. Right? It becomes an occult. That's Jim Jones. The people could not leave. They were isolated from their families. Right? And that's what a cult-like behavior is. That's what these men, these brothers are doing. They create cults within their own homes.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And it's not. Listen, this woman was able to. We talked about it earlier. This Levite's wife was able to go back to her family. She still had access to her family.
Right.
She wasn't cut off from her family because she was now married. Right. Base safety plan. You gonna read that?
Go ahead, brother.
Safety plan. Get outside help. Tell someone, and do not tell the abuser, and I'm going to add, or his constituents, any of the plans. The most dangerous time is when a person is going to leave. Yep.
Wow.
That's why Harriet Tubman, right, carried a shotgun. There's photos of Harriet Tubman.
She carried a revolver. It was a revolver, and it was for anybody who wanted to turn back.
Exactly. Reach out to their father or closest male figure that can be trusted. If urgent, run. Exactly.
Yeah. And is there, you think y'all would be against a woman running away from that situation?
Let's look at
hands, you know?
Let's look at some of the answers we have here. She did contact her family, the elder, and the assembly, and if life-threatening, the police or legal system. Yes, go to the outside world, right? The Torah gives room for refugees.
Yeah.
Protection for those escaping harm.
Yeah.
Yah's heart is, listen, even the suspected criminal, the suspected murderer has refuge. Yah's heart is for the innocent, the widows, and the fatherless. Deuteronomy 24:15-16 teaches that you should not return the runaway servant to his master.
I was looking it up right now.
Isaiah, exactly. Go ahead. You were gonna say
and so if this law is for the least of, like, think about that.
What is an Isha? An Isha is the servant. If the Bahal, if the Ish, if the husband is the master, right, and sure enough, we're not talking about you. If he is the master, right, if he is the master, then she is the servant. She was created to serve him, right? She was created to be the help, not to take over. The help, right? And so, if she's being abused, she has a Yah biblical principle, right, on her side of recourse, where she can run to go and get help. Right? You should not return the runaway servant to his master. So anyone in Israel should become a refuge to her.
Ooh, safe home.
Anyone in Israel should be a safe house to her. Right? She come with slippers on, no slippers on, in her bare feet, running in the middle of the night. You are not, you are commanded to not return that woman. You are not to call that brother, unless if you're going to call him with some questions. You and a couple of other brothers. This is what the text is teaching.
You might have to lay hands.
You might have to lay hands.
Pull out your
shotgun. Right.
I'm not joking. The Torah makes provisions for men to deal with men physically, and for women not to interfere.
Exactly.
Yes, it's true. That makes us feel good. I think that's really, as sisters, we feel like protection from the community as well. We're not alone.
But notice, she don't have no problem with going to this other man's house to be monitored. Now, we talked about monitored earlier, right? Please monitor me.
Right.
Monitor me. So, right?
Yeah,
just
for life, for protection. I mean, come on, single mothers, especially if you have their children. Sorry, the mothers with children involved in that abuse. You want to run, right?
Take your babies to safety. Right. Isaiah 1:17. Learn to do well, seek judgment or justice, right? And release the oppressed. Learn to do well, seek justice, and relieve the oppressed. Right? That's what that passage teaches. And then Psalms 9:9 teaches that Yahweh also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. So we said it earlier. Brother Gray Beard said, pray. Right? Turn it over to him. Turn it over to him. Pray.
Yes.
Pray.
Yes.
Pray. You have recourse. You don't have to sit there and take the abuse.
Facts.
Because you know what you trying to wait this thing out can the next time he triggers, right, and he starts swinging, it might be your last opportunity. It might be in your life the next time. The next time he might literally kill you.
Yeah.
Would be a blessing to chat further with y'all. I work in advocacy for survivors of domestic violence and trafficking. Grateful to share any resource if it would be of service. Oh, sure, certainly. You know, because then what we can do is we can put them in an article, right? We can just put them to the links in the description box. So yeah, send them in. My email is at the bottom. Email me, see what you have. We'll go through them, and then we can put them, you know, through the description box, you know, for as well. Okay. Definitely. Okay. Yeah. All right. So Deuteronomy 23:15-16, thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto thee. All right. So misuse of patriarchal power. All right. What are some other forms of abuse that a husband can inflict on his wife? I think we went through that very well, but let's
actually there's a couple more. Yeah.
Okay. Misuse of patriarchal power. Men are called to be her cover and protector, not her tormentor. Patriarchy is not a license for dictatorship. Yeah, so sometimes brothers take patriarchy to the extreme. That's why I said I can't get with this idea of beating your wife, spanking your wife.
Me neither.
Accountability and brotherhood prevents abuse, right? And that's why it's so important. You know, listen, that's an indicator. Women, you know, for before you even allow yourself to become the woman or the wife of a brother, you know, does he have brothers around him? Does he have levels of accountability, right? That he answers, right? Does he have mentors? Are there other leaders that or is he a lone ranger?
Lone rangers could be dangerous.
Yep.
Yeah. Lone ranger, right? Accountability and brotherhood prevents abuse. Deal with the issue on the lowest level first. The community is vital, however. Yes, exactly. So you start at the lowest level. We dealt with this the last time I brought it up. Matthew 18, we should talk about, you know, assembly discipline.
Right.
You know, if you know your brother, you know, you got an ought of your brother against your brother, you go to him and see if he'll listen to you. Right? You tell him what your beef is. If he doesn't want to listen to you, what do? You take 2 or 3 witnesses and you go and try to have the same discussion with him. If he doesn't want to listen to them, now you take him before the whole congregation. If he's not going to listen to the whole congregation, then now you have to treat him like he's an infidel. He's a sinner. Right? That's how you have to treat him now. Why? Because he's not going to listen to rebuke and reproof. He's not going to listen. Right? So fear of patriarchal leaders often stems from a woman's past trauma of being abused by men. Oh, so true. Women who have been abused in their life will gravitate oftentimes to men who will ultimately abuse them. Controlling men that would abuse them. It's a pattern. Often.
You don't agree? You don't agree?
I'm not saying in all instances, but I'm just saying oftentimes it's a pattern. You know, you have a woman that, I just keep getting these men that you I've seen them. Women were literally, no doubt, they wearing the one man, you know, he's beating her up, and then she get rid of that man, and she go meets another man, and he's like does the same. Like, yo, why does all beat this woman up? Right? Yeah. You know, and so there's a pattern, right? Which just probably stems all the way back to her childhood. Right? Like, think about it. A lot of women become prostitutes because they were molested as a child. Right? That's abuse, right? So now what they're out there doing, going out there and soliciting abuse, further abuse professionally from men to men every night. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to add to that?
No, I see the point that you're making, right? Because I was about to jump on the defense, but when when I stopped and considered, I'm like, well, the reality is that the bulk of women that find themselves in these type of situations, it is habitual, and it's not hard, right? You leaving a situation, oftentimes predators. I'm gonna say predators. Predators can spot vulnerability in what they're seeking, right? And so, a male predator that wants to condescend upon on women are looking for certain things about that woman that he can condescend upon, right? And so I see what you're like. As I quickly thought about what you said, I'm like, no, you're actually absolutely right. And so you, as a woman,
let me just before you go to the next point. It's the grace of Yah. Going back to you saying that you are ready to jump to the defense. It's the grace of Yah that a woman who has a track record of being abused can now come across a man, right? Who's the opposite of that, right? And he actually becomes a refuge in her life,
right?
You get what I'm saying? And
absolutely,
so, yeah. A woman with a passive may also choose a weak man who will never tell them no or give direction, which is also bad. Yeah, this is true.
Right.
It's true.
We want to welcome Brother Jeremy.
Brother Jay, what's going on?
Shalom, shalom. How's it going, everybody?
Shalom. Blessings to you, brother. You all right. Sister D, I don't know where that banner is at. Could we take that off? Because I want to make sure I see it.
Sorry. Forgive me. I'm trying to remove it. I can't see it.
Right.
Yeah. Hide. Okay. There we go.
Yeah. All right. Good. All right. Good. All right. So yeah, this evidence, even a Torah observant man can be tempted to misuse power. For example, for wife into sexual immorality, such as threesomes or other defiled acts. Right? Isaiah 10:2, defending the widows and the poor. Also, 1 Thessalonians 4:3-4. This is the will of Yah, that you should abstain from fornication. Right. So clearly the message is resounding, right? It's replete, this idea that men are not to, if you're not to force your daughter or make your daughter into a prostitute, you definitely are not to be making your wife into a prostitute, right?
Yeah.
So you have men literally, pimping out their wives, right?
Right.
Yes. For sure. Right, let's go to the next one. All right, so the science behind her recourse. No, let's skip that one because we did that the last time, right? How does Yah see his daughters? All right, no, that's not lining up. You see, when I lost this document, I reconfigured everything and it threw me off.
Can we read this one? Can we read this one?
Can you read it, please?
Other forms of abuse is deliberately withholding sex from your wife for long periods of time as a punishment abuse. Is forbidding her from having children and forcing her on birth control or withdrawal. I guess the withdrawal method abuse. Is putting her away for months or years.
Let's stop right there. There's a few things you said there.
Yeah.
Is with
we gotta address some of this.
Your wife for long periods of time as a punishment. We often hear about wives withholding sex. But do husbands ever withhold sex?
Yes.
The wives. Does that happen? I mean,
yes.
Paul talked about it, right? And the scriptures down here at the bottom, it says First Corinthians 7:3-5, and this is paraphrased, and let the husbands render unto the wife due benevolence. Right? In other words, she's due to it. Why? Because it's his marital duty, right? He's bound as a duty as a husband, right? to give her marital rights, her conjugal rights, right? He's not supposed to withhold from her, right? That aspect of his body belongs to her, right? In fact, Paul even goes as far as to say that he needs her permission, right? Even if he's going to go and fast. Why? Because a woman needs sex.
No, wow. I know sisters who their husband have withdrawn all that because the first wife is jealous in a polygyny. And so it's not like consensual, but how is that abusive?
I hear what you're saying. Some people have the perspective that, you know, when you're married, your body belongs to the other person. And so, you know, I know that some men are like, so whenever I want it, you're supposed to give it. Right. And then I know that some women have the same perspective, right? But I will also say that there's a counter perspective. And that is that there are some wives that feel like, listen, my body does belong to you, and as long as I'm not in a state of impurity, I'm not going to deny you. And there are some brothers that'll be like, I can be dead asleep. If you want it, take it. And so, but the issue is when you marry someone who doesn't share the same sentiment as you on the issue, that's the issue. If a man and a woman and they both have the perspective, you know, take it whenever you want it. You can have it whenever you want it. I'll say it like that. You can have it as a gift to you whenever you want it. Then it's there. What are we conversing about? It's not an issue. It's not life threatening. It's not nothing. But when a man takes it upon himself to force a woman to lie with him in some capacity, that is an issue. Or when a woman is now asserting dominance over a man in that she's trying to force him to, you know, like that situation in and of itself is unnatural. Unless you live amongst hyenas, you know what I'm saying? So like clear boundaries have to be understood and even reevaluated.
I agree.
A virgin, inexperienced young lady can be like, oh, I'm getting married, my body belongs to you, and da 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 da. And then she gets in it, and then she's like, whoa, Nelly. Whoa. Whoa, fella. I need recovery. You know what I'm saying? Whoa, Nelly. Whoa, you know. So it has to be reevaluated, and there has to be respect, right? And this is where polygyny can be a help and not a hurt.
Yes.
Because in a situation where she's like, I don't like it like that, I don't want it all the time, like him respecting where she stands with that, you know, it doesn't make him look less of her. There's just now a greater balance in the home, because there is someone there who does desire it, expect it, you know, whatever, like that. And so it makes for a livable, like where there would have been contention, there may now be balance.
But I do know, I hear you, but I do know of polygynous couples and sisters who are willing and everything, but their husband has put them away because he prefers the first wife.
And there may be more to the story, you know, like a man, hey, Mike, Jeremy, y'all, you know, correct me, you know, because I don't want to speak for all men incorrectly, but I'm going to speak for all men when I say,
okay.
When a man is fed up there ain't nothing you can do about it.
It's true. Yeah.
So just like when a woman is fed up, when a man is fed up, like with the situation, he may put her away. Like, it's like there's nothing enjoyable about interacting with you, but I'm going to fulfill my obligation to take care of you. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm now going to take care of you in this way, because your behavior has removed me from your presence, or vice versa.
Right. Yeah, but is that biblical? Because based on Exodus 21:10-11, that might be what he might do. He says, if he take another wife, her food, her clothes, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall not diminish. You know, he's talking about
what is the duty of marriage.
Right. Well, in some translations, it says her conjugal rights.
Sure.
Right. So it says, and if he does not these three unto her, then shall she go out free. So in other words, she's released from that situation because he's now neglecting her.
All right. So let's rewind the tape. Let's go back to the very beginning. Right. Mm-hmm. And we're going to assume that the phrase.
You mean in the Garden of Eden beginning? No.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. We're going to assume that the phrase duty of marriage is correct. All right. Mm-hmm. What was the original command after mankind was created?
To be fruitful and multiply.
To be fruitful and multiply. When Noah before. True. When Abba Noah got off the ark, what was the command? And his family. Okay. All right. So now we go back to the beginning of instructions, right? And so we're talking about the process of the responsibility of marriage. The duty of marriage has to do with procreation, not sexual recreation. So if this man dies tomorrow and she hasn't reproduced, then who is responsible as she evolves in age to assume the responsibility of taking care of her?
His next of kin.
Yeah.
But that would have been her.
That would have been his.
It would have been her what?
No, it would be his brother.
It would have been her son had they reproduced. Like, no. I'm saying a widowed woman is not required to remarry. I'm saying assuming the responsibility. So we can look at Ruth and Boaz, for example, right? The only reason the story, this history, this understanding progressed to where it did was because her husband died. Naomi's husband died, right? Mm-hmm. But then also, so did her sons. They all three died. And so when all three died, now we're talking about the next of kin in succession of lineage. And the Ruth was married to Boaz, not Naomi. And so because Ruth was married to Boaz, it now reconnected Naomi because that's his her daughter-in-law. So the duty of marriage has to do, as I'm understanding it, and I'm perfectly okay with being wrong and rebuked, with procreation, so that the whole cycle of sustainment, boom, honoring your father and mother, taking care of your mother, now can actually materialize versus you never reproduced with me, and you're hurting me because I can go be with someone else, reproduce, you know what I'm saying, and secure that. Whereas because this man who's not taking care of food, clothing, and duty of marriage in that regard isn't doing it. What say you?
So I just want to make sure that I'm simple because you said a lot. So I just want to make sure that I'm simply understanding what you're saying. Are you saying
Yes.
that you're interpreting the duty of marriage is only procreation?
Not all, like it's about security. Remember, our foremother, Rivka, or excuse me, Raquel. Well, shoot, both of them. What did they say to their husbands? Give me children, or what?
Or they would die.
Thank you. Now, why would they say something so?
Yeah, but I don't think that
metaphorically though.
I don't think that was literal. I think that
that was metaphorically. Because having a child,
there's an allegory aspect to it. Absolutely. Yeah. So what is the metaphor though?
The metaphor is longing to have his child. Give him an heir.
Right, male seed.
And what would that male seed do?
Carry his name into the next generation.
Next thing, right.
So what benefit is that to her in any capacity?
She understood, especially as a Hebrew, that was her duty. They worshiped the same God. They went to the same synagogue.
Yeah.
So they understood. He understood his role, and she understood what her role and duty was.
Yes. Right. So what I'm saying is, everything has a functional purpose, right? And so, as mothers who nurture and raise children, when they become old, that now becomes the responsibility of the children to nurture and take care of the parents in their elderly age. It's this whole cycle. It prevents welfare, all those things that we
your mother and your father.
Right. So that's what I'm saying in relation to duty of marriage. I think there is more to it than just sex. I'm not saying it's not sex. Right. I'm saying because there's more to it.
Yeah, that's why I wanted, sister. I want to see his face, Sister D. Thank you. That was the reason why. Yeah, because I want to see if I want to communicate. That was the reason why I was asking you, because I wanted you to qualify. Are you trying to say that, that you only view the duty as being to procreate? Because then if that was the case, then why does Paul say, to not give? Let's go to the passage. Let's go to the passage.
Let's dig in the word.
Yeah, let's go to the passage. Let me see.
I'm there.
Hold on. No. I need to pull it up for everyone. Not just you, but everyone needs to see it.
He said, no. We all need to see that.
Yeah, we all need to see it. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 7. Hold on a second. All right, boom. 1 Corinthians 7. All right, so Brother Jeremy, could you read from the first verse, please?
Yes, sir. Now, concerning the things about which you wrote, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. But because
stop right there. Not to touch the woman. What do you think the context of verse 1 is?
Is there anybody or me in particular?
You. I'm asking you, Brother Jeremy.
Oh, my bad. Okay. So I think the context of verse 1, it includes kissing or sex.
Sex.
Not to touch it.
Okay. Would you think that the context, is it safe to say that the context is about procreation?
Oh, yeah.
Is it? No. Is it good for not? No, notice, let's read it. Now, concerning the things about which you wrote, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Mm-hmm. Is it necessarily talking about procreation, or is it talking about the physical act of sex? Or is it talking about both?
That's a good question. So looking at this, I don't believe that it is talking about the actual act of sex.
You know, I
think it's talking about things that could awaken
result from sex,
lead up to it.
Okay, so let's read the next verse. Look at the next verse.
Okay, but because of sexual immoralities, each man is to have his own wife, and to each woman is to have her own husband.
So
Okay,
then
so
why?
speak about sex.
So all right, yeah. So that's what I was going to ask you another question. So then,
Yes.
why should a man have his own wife, and why should a woman have her own husband? Based on 7:2.
Well, because you can't stop the rocket once it's taken off.
Right. So he touched this woman, he's kissing this woman, he's sexually being aroused and stuff and so forth and whatnot. And so the whole purpose of this is to prevent what? What is the thing that he wants to prevent in verse 2?
Sexual immorality.
What is sexual immorality?
Having sex.
All right. Is it procreate?
And the aftermath, which would be procreation.
Well, procreating doesn't have that, because sexual immorality has to do with prostitution. A man doesn't go to a prostitute because he wants to have a child necessarily.
I mean, if he's swinging a hammer without any protection, that's a possibility,
right? There's a
high
chance.
possibility.
But what is the purpose here? Does he want to have a child, or does he want to just have sex?
He wants to just have sex, but
then what's the context?
Having sex.
Sex. All right, get brother.
It's so. What I'm speaking in reference to is cause and effect, right? And so we can look at this immorality from a Greek perspective, and if the Greeks or if the Greek perspective is perverted, it's going to translate perversions.
Right.
If we're looking at Paul speaking to an audience that understands things from a Hebraic perspective, we're going to see immorality beyond porneia, like just the act of sex. And we're going to look at immorality or something being immoral based upon the following consequences that are produced. For example, if a man and a woman are having sex and they produce children that he does not claim, whose responsibility is it now to take care of these children? That's immoral. Based upon, like when we look at the Most High destroying Sodom and Gomorrah because they lacked hospitality and sexual immorality, but because they lacked hospitality, is that like that's the epitome of being inhospitable, that a man would go into a woman and reproduce with her and then abandon the seed in its entirety, right? And so, go ahead.
No. That goes without saying. But what I'm driving at is the context is sex. It's not about building a family. It's not about having a. He's saying to avoid sexual immorality. Okay, he's talking about the issue of sex and the context that it should be in. That's what he's implying.
Sure.
So the issue here is sex. So now it's because this is important, because when he goes to the next verses, he's gonna drive a Hebraic point, his understanding of Torah. He's gonna drive that in the next few verses, right? So verse 3, Brother Jay.
I got you. The context is that initially a man shouldn't be looking just to be out here laying.
He wants you to read the verse.
He wants to do.
I read verse 3.
I understand that, but I didn't get to reply before.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, Aki. I'm sorry. Listen, I stand corrected. You know what I mean? Yo, listen, I humble myself to the brother. Yo, man, don't grab me through the mic, man. Don't grab me through the mic.
It's okay. It's okay.
Don't put hands on me. Don't put virtual hands on me.
I was just saying, I understand, and I appreciate that, because it set the foundation of what we're talking about. Now I get it. This is where we're going. This is initially what it's supposed to be for. You're having sex. It's supposed to be in the context of this, so we can work out,
And it's not in sexual immorality, right? But the thing that he's talking about that you're supposed to be having that's not in immorality is sex.
Right.
That is the context. The context is sex, right? It's not offspring. It's not having children. It's not being fruitful and multiplying, right? That's the point.
Right.
That's a product of it.
Yes,
as
it's
a
a product
product
of
of
it,
it,
but
right?
it's a product done righteously.
Done
Because we
righteously.
have
Exactly.
seen where the Father has closed wombs.
Exactly. He
All right.
has closed wombs, right?
So
But
verse.
even though he closed the wombs, does that give the husband license to say, did that give Elkanah license to say, well, I'm not going to no longer go into Hannah?
No, because the intent was to keep trying to
Right.
reproduce,
Exactly.
And not to steal
not
his seed.
necessarily just to recreation.
Right. Well, I mean, recreation is a word that we use.
Sure.
But again, we're talking about the overall duty. Like the overall duty does include the act. You cannot try without having sex.
Right. We're speaking on this. I think we're saying the same thing. I think that the only difference is I'm applying what comes after.
Right.
In addition to what we're saying.
Right. And the reason why I say that, because that's why I want to go through the next two verses.
Right.
Because there's an important point, and we haven't touched on that in this whole series yet.
Right.
And it's very important, because now this touches on the realm of epigenetics.
Okay, well, brothers, let me go ahead and read it then, brothers.
Epigenetics, and it's important that we touch on this, because this is key. This is very important, right? So, you read verse 3, right? So it says the husband must fulfill his duty. So the duty implied here is not having children necessarily, but sex. Because based on the context of verse 1 and 2, the context has to deal with your duty is to fulfill this as in this way, as opposed to doing it this way. So the implication is that when you do it this way, you won't be wrongfully doing it that way, which is called sexual immorality. So if you have your own woman, then it's not sexual immorality. You get what I'm saying? And the context of what's being talked about is not necessarily having children. It's just has to do with just having sex. Right? Forget the word recreation, because he's not even using that term. That's a term that we use here. But it is a part of the duty, and we're going to see that when we go a little bit further. Right? So verse 4, read verse 4.
The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. And likewise, also the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does.
So then why does Yah make this an authority issue? Why does he make this an authority issue for both the husband and the wife? They both need this thing that we're talking contextually about here, or Paul is talking contextually here about, which is called sex. Why do they both need it?
Because from verse 3, it's both their duties. He has a duty.
It's both their duties, but why? Because when we talk about authority, we're talking about something that's mandated from the divine. Why? Why is it authoritatively commanded that this is what the man is supposed to receive and this is what the woman is supposed to receive? Why?
Because when the man enters the woman, she is submitting to him, and he is asserting his authority over her.
Okay.
And while he's actually inputting his DNA in her, and it also helps her health-wise from receiving his DNA.
Exactly. So now we're touching into the realm of epigenetics.
Right.
So there's a
before we tap into that.
Okay.
There's an element that we have to consider that most of the time we gloss over.
Okay.
History.
But first, before we go there, what is epigenetics? So that for the people that's listening, because people are viewing, we throwing a term out there. Somebody watching the playback or watching live right now may not know what we're talking about.
It's the study of how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way your genes work without changing the DNA sequence.
Exactly. So let's break that down. Simplify. Let's simplify that. What happens in epigenetics?
Changes to your lineage, hell, even you.
Right. So
that affect everything that comes after you.
So give us an example of that. We're dealing with a prostitute as opposed to a woman that's your wife, that's a daughter of Zion.
Okay, how about that? Oh, okay. So now let's say you're dealing with this prostitute.
Life threatening. This is now life threatening, and we're gonna see how this is life threatening.
Okay.
How in the world?
It's simple. It's. I mean, on a very simple level, right? Let's say you're dealing with a woman. Like you have a wife, right? One, and now you take on another wife or woman who has prostituted herself to some degree, right? And or just
she got
contracted AIDS. Let's say she contracted AIDS, right? And then, but in doing so, she gets pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
The likelihood that your child is born with AIDS is very, very high.
Right.
Something that now is passed down to this child that was outside of your genetic sequence. They now are born with this thing encoded in them, or like a crack baby.
Yeah, but that's simple inheritance. But epigenetics is more deeper than that.
Well, I was trying to. You said break it down. I was like, I'm like, it don't get more simple than this.
I'm sorry, because that's simple. That's simple. Like we listen.
Like PTSD, or like slavery, for example. Like baby mamas, for examples, are examples of results of epigenetics.
And so what will be the epigenetics? Because I want to make sure we're defining it. What will be the epigenetics? That example, those examples.
Stress. So when we talk about like this stress hormones that are induced upon this woman are now encoded in the DNA, right, of children that are produced to. They can try to be successful on their own, but it's extremely hard, and the likelihood of success is slim to none because it's encoded in them to be difficult, especially if their environment facilitated what was already encoded in them. So if they never saw a successful household, they're less likely to produce one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're talking about basically environmental effects now has an effect on the child.
Not just yes.
That's affecting the child.
Yes.
Is there something else from an environmental effect that will have an effect on the child?
Yeah, even like the environment that they're in, like
there's another element to it that
I hear you.
There's another element to it that you're not saying.
You're talking about the environment in the stomach, right?
No, not necessarily the environment. Epigenetics also includes this woman is a prostitute.
Okay.
So she has a high body count.
Okay.
And one man that she dealt with was a drug addict.
Okay.
Another man she dealt with ate a lot of pork.
Okay.
Another man she dealt with, right, had a traumatic life, where he grew up with a lot of abuse, so he was emotionally unstable.
Right.
Right. So from the environment that these men came from, who she had cohabitated with, or she copulated with, right?
Had children. Yep.
Right. Their trauma, their physiological effects from their environment now, without it being from their DNA, has an imprint and has an effect on her reproductive system. So even though she's with you now, right? Even though she's with you now, the children that she produces can take on those traits from the pork that the man that she previously had, right? And now here's what happens. You can have a baby that's born And this is where it's life threatening at.
Right.
You can have a baby that's born, and at age 1, age 2, he is diagnosed with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not necessarily coming from you, but it could be coming from one of the many men that she dealt with.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So this epigenetics, right? This epigenetic, and so right here on the screen, Yah says this right here. He says, "You shall not worship them or serve them, for I am Yahweh, your Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, or El, visiting the iniquities of the fathers on the children on the third and fourth
generation,
but showing loving kindness to those who love me and keep my commandments." So the contrast here is that I don't want you worshiping these idols, which is sexual immorality. I don't want you worshiping these idols because these idols can have an epigenetic effect on your lineage. And this is the thing that I want to save you from. This is the thing that I want to protect you from. Right?
Right.
And so it can have an effect on your posterity. Those that come from your loins, they can be affected by the host, the woman that you are putting seed in. And so now, whatever man that she's been with can now have those, how would you say, those characteristics, those health issues, all those things can now be passed on. Even the traits in terms of, like the height of the child. Like everyone in your family could be less than 5'9", right? But yet you got a baby down that's 7 feet tall. No one in your family is over 6 feet. Right?
But the previous dude she messed with
Shaquille O'Neal, right? So it can have that effect. And so now going back to Paul, right? Paul is making the point here that the wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. So this is a divine order that we saw even in the 10 Commandments that I just read in Exodus 20, that there's a divine order, right? In terms of how they are to copulate, how they are to have sex, right? Why? To prevent what's going to happen in the third and the fourth generation, in the future generation. And sexual immorality is prostitution. It is idolatry. It is the worship of other elves, right? So once a man and a woman engage in that, they are engaging in idolatry, right? So recreational sex with somebody that you're not married to, right? That's the problem. But having the recreational sex with somebody that you're married to and is within covenant, that's something totally different. And that's the contrast that Paul is actually making here. He's saying that you can touch a woman randomly, just to have sex with her who's a prostitute, but to avoid that, let every man has his own wife. Let every woman have her own husband is the context of what he's talking about. At this point, he's not even talking about bearing children. He's just talking about the act of sex, and he says something even further. He says, stop depriving one another. So he's saying that the husband should not be deprived and the wife should not be deprived. Why? Because this goes into this need that both the man and the woman have. Brother Jeremy talked about that, right? That a man needs sex, because if a man doesn't get sex, it shortens his lifespan. If he doesn't have sex at least 21 times within a given month, we did a previous live stream on this, right? Yeah. It's going to affect his lifespan. If she doesn't have sex, it's going to affect her neurological area. It's going to affect her psychology. It's going to affect her immune system. It's going to affect her reproductive system. Like all of these things are affected by women who are sexless. Yeah. Sister D.
And so we did discuss about the man's sperm being epigenetically also the master regulator of a woman's hormones, and it does help us to change and bond with the man, but also control different aspects of our physiology. So when we're in a relationship with a husband, and it does happen, I read a comment here saying that sexless marriages are usually the woman with withholding sex. That's true, but we are now in Matriarchy Monday, so we're talking about the opposite, which does happen, my brothers, where it does.
Men are
And
depriving women.
yeah, it does happen. And then the sisters do get deprived of these benefits as well from it.
Right.
Because they're thinking somehow they have a license in Torah to discipline her this way. Oh, well, I don't like how you cooking my food, and I kept telling you I don't like it that way. So for now, be gone from me, woman. I'll banish you, and you will not have any sexual relations with me. You know what I mean?
And that
Like,
was one of that's one of it. Some of it's discipline. Other ones is the fear of the first wife. Okay.
the fear of the first
Because
one.
the first, although they're legitimately, there's a tension between the first wife, and to appease her, he punishes the second.
Runs the second wife. He puts the second wife away because he doesn't want to rock the boat, because maybe the first wife has a state marriage license and she
That's
really
usually it. And she's threatening to divorce and
right.
Mhm,
Yeah, definitely. But I would say definitely that it does include having children, but it also is life sustaining, just the act of having sex and she receiving the DNA from that man.
Healthier,
You
yeah.
know, a health, right? And even down to the point of having a woman who wasn't a former prostitute, right? Like that helps, right? Because now when you talk about the offspring, are they going to be born crippled? Are they going to have all the kind of emotional issues? Are they going to have autism? Right? All of these things you got to really think about and really consider. When you have a woman who has a high body count, right? But
what's high?
In a woman, what's high?
Yeah.
Well, according to Deuteronomy 24, you can be implied. The woman that got divorced the second time, right? It can be kind of high, right? But it's a relative number, right? I mean, because one could say that Rahab had a high body count, right? But the thing about Rahab is that she allowed herself to be converted.
Right.
You understand? So the likelihood of a woman being truly converted, it's challenging for a woman who has a high body count, because there's a psychological effect, schizophrenia, right? That she undergoing that because it's traumatic.
Yeah, all these sperms, all these men inside of them. Yeah,
it's traumatic.
But there's another danger, I would think, that even it can happen if you married a virgin and you were to punish her this way and abandon this woman to no sex for a long period of time, and that's the temptation of being unfaithful, immorality. Right?
Meaning that she
door open.
Faithful, so
no. Just putting away, let's say, like I gave that scenario, and I'm saying these scenarios because I don't want to give up my sister's names, but I have.
People. Yeah. No. Okay?
So
yes, ma'am.
Virgin, right? Married a virgin, and now the husband has
puts her away.
It puts her away temporarily. He says, but Paul warns, don't do this, because why? Right. Now you've opened a Pandora box of emotions. She has these hormones. She's no longer a virgin, but she's committed to you. And now these other temptations come by and you're not there to fulfill it. So now what happens? You left the door open. Isn't that a life-threatening situation? Because where's the shepherd that's supposed to be protecting her sexuality, right?
And Paul also talked about not creating stumbling blocks for your brother or your sister, right?
And that's a stumbling block, right?
So you cause a stumbling block when you put her in a situation where she's going to be perpetually tempted, right? Because you'll call yourself punishing her when it says here, do not deprive one another. Do not deprive one another. And he's not talking about.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So that's it. I mean, we went down a rabbit hole.
You tapped into something though, right?
Well, I needed
You're
to
talking
say that
about
for
the
my
psychological.
Yeah.
You tapped into the psychological implications of what happens, when men and women recreate together, right? And so, but you tapped into you went into the epigenetics, right? And so there are psychological and physiological implications with having sex. And so if you're doing this outside of the confines of marriage, you are distorting as you were saying, the what would be produced whenever that day for her comes to get married to a man, or you know what I'm saying? And you got to look at like who Paul was dealing with and talking to, right? And what did these people, what were they coming out from?
Right.
You know, they came out of a Greek travesty where Greeks were doing all kind of stuff that we see in like the Game of Thrones and all this stuff, where or Braveheart, you know, where you know these people were diabolical to the Hebrews,
right,
to the Israelites, to the Yahudim, to the Jews.
right.
They would do diabolical things like, oh, you're engaged, you're about to get married. I'm gonna take her. I'm gonna go into her before you have. Like,
Right.
and these things are recorded in like the books of the Maccabees. So you talk about trauma, and then they come under a Roman occupation that isn't so far from the Greek way. Like, it's all about fusing cultures. So, you know, now Paul is doing what we're trying to do right now, and that's restructured mindset.
And taking it back to the ancient ways.
Yeah.
Right. Taking it back to the ancient ways.
And it's possible that the reason why the Most High kind of orchestrated this whole marital picture largely is due to epigenetics.
Yeah, exactly. So the conclusion,
oh no,
is is how Yah sees his daughters. How does he see his daughters? Yah loves his daughters. He puts laws in place to protect and bless them, right? There is hope and there is dignity coded in Torah. You are not disposable. You are not forgotten.
Right.
You are Yah's property, and he will defend his own.
That's it.
The scriptures that, you know, secure that point, that notion, right, is, or those notions, is in Deuteronomy 32:10. He kept him as the apple of his eye. Psalm 91:14-15. Because she has set her love upon me, therefore will I deliver.
Yeah.
Isaiah 54:5. For your maker is your husband. Yahweh of hope, right? Sabaoth is his name. So, question, what are we saying here? We said a lot. I think we hit a lot of cylinders here. Definitely let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth. Right. Husbands, love your wives, even as Messiah also loved the assembly and gave himself for it. What are we saying here tonight?
That we should not abuse each other.
Not at all. Not at all.
And if abuse is happening, we need to recourse. We need to redirect. Seek help. If reconciliation is possible, hallelujah. But if it is not, save yourself.
Save your soul.
And your children.
Exactly.
And by doing so, you might be preserving his lineage.
Exactly.
Yes,
Or the other men's lineages because of the baby daddies.
Yes.
So,
exactly. Manalo said,
or baby mamas. Like there could be, you know, blended house.
Exactly. Manalo says, don't abuse your wife. Anyone else?
I just think that the takeaway for a lot of my sisters is that Yah loves us. We are his daughters, and he doesn't condone abuse.
Okay.
Right? There's no reason for us to fear that he doesn't love us. and wants us to stick in this forever, right? Especially if we're talking about life-threatening abuse. So I thank y'all that he has given recourse and made passing the Torah for us. We definitely need to seek guidance from elders.
It gives us hope, right?
Right.
It's definitely there to give us hope. Definitely there to give us hope. I enjoyed this. Definitely enjoyed this this topic. Definitely enjoyed it. And this was blessed. I pray you sisters got something out of this. Definitely you sisters that need encouragement, right? Know that your father loves you. Yeah, so this was definitely a one that I really, even though it's kind of touchy, and we made it through it. We made it through it. Let's need conversation. How do you feel about this topic, Sister D? Representing the sisters. Yeah.
No, I'm really glad that we got through it because, like I said, it's a hot topic behind the scenes, and sometimes as Torah observant, submissive wives, we don't like to complain. We don't like to say that these things are happening. It's actually a shameful thing, right? To say that these things are happening, but shining lights on it and not being afraid of facing it head on within the congregation with the brothers is what we're doing right now, and I think it's very valuable. Because when we hide things and secretly don't want to discuss it, it gets worse, right?
Exactly.
And you think you're alone. You think that nobody else is going through this, and there are people that are going through this. So, yeah, it's good to have these discussions.
You know that what you said, you made me think of. Know that conspiracy, evil conspiracy, only has power in secret. Remove secrecy, the element of secrecy. Evil conspiracy no longer has power. Once it's exposed, it doesn't have power anymore.
Yes.
That's what the spiritists want. They don't want you to reveal what the secret is. They don't want you to reveal what's done in the dark, right? That's why the predator will say, you better not tell anyone.
Yeah,
right? They want to
Yeah.
conceal it, right? Because that's where their power is at. As long as they can get you, the victim, right, to conceal, right, then they can continue preying on you, continue preying on you. You expose it. Why? He says that we overcame him, right?
By the word.
Right? That predator, the serpent, by the blood of the lamb and by the word
of our testimony.
So women shouldn't be afraid of crying out and giving, talking about it.
Do not. Yahuel, you are a brother who has a house full of women. What does the topic mean to you? What does the topic mean to you?
This is super important. Because some men are intimidated to breach on some of these subjects within their family confines alone. Like, hey, what do you, what would you do in this situation like this? Because they don't have the answer. So it's like, I would rather just ignore it and hope it never happens than to get, what I'm saying, get in the weeds of a conversation like this on a podcast, live and in the flesh, at least for me, because it's only going to instigate conversations for me once this is over.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine y'all gonna have some conversations.
Well, it's going to be retouching on conversations that have already been had. Not so much like, oh, we've never talked about this and now you got to talk about it. Nah, like, we've talked about quite a bit of this stuff, but now it's a little bit more in your face. And I think it's a little more in my face because I have daughters that are marital age, right? And so, I have I think it increases the awareness of responsibility. And I'm a very picky person in relation to them, but it increases, like, maybe there's some questions, that more questions that I have to ask. Like, hey, let me see your STD screening before.
Add to the list. Add to the list. Yeah.
Hey, I got your background check done. I just need you to do the swab real quick.
What kind of food y'all ate? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. As an effect, you know, your baby.
What's your mom and daddy's relationship like?
Yeah.
Brother, don't forget Brother Jeremy. He's not seen here, but he's listening.
I was trying, but it wasn't allowing me to bring him on because it says that his mic is on audio only. So that's the reason why he's not allowed. He's got to change his mic.
Yeah, it's something. It was something I think I accidentally clicked when I came in.
Oh, okay.
So it's most likely my fault.
Okay.
But,
all right.
You know, Brother L, he's hitting on those are questions that you definitely want to ask. You know, get to the point where you are ready to take a woman. Yeah, nowadays you're going to have to do an STD screening.
Yeah.
The adults, we got to know. Both you guys should do it actually. That
Right.
way you know, hey, whether you're clean or not.
Right.
But what are we saying tonight? I'm gonna have to catch the replay. I came in and we're going chisel and hammer into this thing. I didn't realize you guys bounced off each other so well.
Yeah.
I was just sitting back here just listening.
All praises.
Yeah, he's been here. All praises. Yes. It's biblical why to endure life-threatening abuse. Would you be able to answer that, Brother Jeremy, on off the cuff?
Yeah, off the cuff. Is it biblical for an endure life-threatening abuse? No, absolutely not.
Makes sense.
As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you guys already mentioned it. Look what happened to Hagar.
I was gonna bring up Hagar, but then we switched gears. Yo, epigenetics. Yo, Ima Sarah said he can't. He's detrimental to the success of this one. He got to go.
Yeah.
And his mama.
Right. Yeah, because that's where it started. Right. Basically, that's where it started. Yeah. I think we definitely hit on all cylinders. Next announcement next week, Monday, we will begin. Not what beginning, but we are going to be having our next man cave topic. Can you pull that up while I get it? If you pull up the topic, we'll do. But if you want to get in contact with Brother Jeremy, this is his handle to his channel. I didn't get to write down your what's the name. So if you could put it inside the what's the name. That's good.
The topic is here. I put it there for you. Here, this is the topic for next week.
Right. What's the difference between a patriarch or a simp?
Oh my God.
So we're gonna dig into what is the biblical difference between. It's one thing about we hear the Manosphere talking about it all the time. Kevin Samuel, all of those guys. They talk
Fugazi.
Yeah. Well, what's the biblical definition between a patriarch and a simp? Not a saint, but a simp. So all you who eat but is
sorry. It won't go there. Sorry, that might to be deleted. Not sorry. All right, but we were really glad for all the people in the chat going on here. This has been wonderful. Thank you for all your inputs today.
Yes. Did you put it up?
I did.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at. You put it in the comment section.
I did. It's right after Call for Wisdoms. When she put the title of the next Man Cave Monday.
You put it after that?
Yeah, it's right after that.
Okay, we gotta go. Here we go. It's a good one. Oh, yeah. I don't see it right now, actually.
See it?
On my screen, it's like right before that's a good one.
Yeah, so sometimes when you post your channel, if you do like at YouTube, it's kind of YouTube will block it, so we can't.
Because some of your chats I couldn't see it actually.
Right. So what's the call? Tell me the call letters of your channel. What's the call?
01 Juliet Victor Romeo. 01 Juliet Victor, like junior varsity. Romeo at Gmail.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
So that's just email, right?
Yeah,
so
it's just my email.
Okay, just email. Okay, that's it right there.
That's it.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Wells email address. We don't want you to monitor him. We want you to stalk him. Not just kidding. So go on over there and stalk, surveil him, right?
You can try.
Yo, man, this is good. I have fun doing this. I have fun.
Yeah, yes. Wonderful.
Good. He's more like Abraham, less like Pinky. They have a private conversation. All right, so yeah, this has been good. Brother Jeremy, since you're here, could you please close us out with a word of prayer? Oh, and this coming Shabbat, we also have the continuing. No, is this coming?
Yeah, it's like part 13 of the Fast and the Furious.
So we're up to part
seven.
Right, of how Yeshua, Torah, and polygyny or polygamy is used to evangelize the world. Right. All right. Okay, go ahead.
Sure. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, so we forgive our debtors, and lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Father God, thank you today for bringing us together as a family to discuss this important topic and to give wisdom and truth out to your flock, Lord. I pray, Father, as we all go our separate ways tonight, Lord, that you continue to be with us. And I pray for those on the replay, that your spirit of discernment, your spirit of truth touch them, and it causes them to dig deeper into your word, Lord. We don't want them to think that what's said here tonight is the end all be all of the discussion, but it should start the discussion not only in their own houses, but in seeking you, Father, for truth. I pray for everybody on this panel and everybody in the comment section. I pray that your armor covers them tonight, Father, and that you keep them under the shadow of your wings, Lord, as they rest tonight and wake up in the morning anew. In Yeshua's name, Father, so let it be. Amen and amen.
So let it be. Amen.
Amen. Blessings, everybody. Brother Beard, brother. So many people here to say goodbye to.
My mishpachot.
Yes.
Hallelujah. All y'all.
Amen. Blessings to all. Hallelujah.
Blessings, everybody.
Kingdom, we bid you shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.